2 teams in the same day. Shawn Marion pulled off one of the strangest things the NBA's ever logged in its record books. He played for 2 different teams on the same official game day. How? It all starts with a mess involving a blown call, a protest, and the rarest thing in the league, a game replay. Back in December of 2007, the Miami Heat played the Hawks in Atlanta. That game went to overtime, but during the chaos, Shaq was wrongly hit with a 6th foul. The Heat protested. The league actually agreed, and for the first time since the early 80s, ordered a replay. They set it for March 8, 2008, just the final 51.9 seconds. But here's where it gets ridiculous. By the time the replay was scheduled, O'Neal had been traded to Phoenix, and Miami had picked up Shawn Marion. Marion hadn't played in the original December game. He was still with the Suns, but now he was on the Heat and was eligible to suit up for the replay. So on March 8th, Marion played for the Heat in that 51.9 second replay of a December 19th game. Thing is, he'd already played an actual game for the Suns back on that same December date. The league counted both, so officially, Marion played for the Suns and Heat on the exact same game day. No joke, the records show he clocked minutes for 2 different franchises on one calendar night, thanks to a technicality that only the NBA could cook up. Wes Edens versus Giannis. The Bucks Media Day on September 29th, 2025 got real weird, real fast. Wes Edens, one of the team's owners, stepped up and told reporters he talked with Giannis back in June. According to Edens, Giannis said he was committed to Milwaukee and liked having his family there. That quote spread like wildfire, plastered across social media and cited by outlets all over. But then Giannis joined the media day from Greece on Zoom. He was recovering from COVID and couldn't be there in person. And when someone asked him about that supposed June meeting, his response was short and wild. He said, "I cannot recall that meeting." Just like that, the whole conversation flipped. Now, Giannis wasn't saying he disagreed with anything. He just flat out didn't remember the meeting. This wasn't some vague misunderstanding. It was an hour-apart contradiction between the franchise's superstar and one of its principal owners in front of the entire basketball world. Meanwhile, the Bucks had just reshaped their roster. They waived and stretched Damian Lillard's contract, brought in Miles Turner, and had only Giannis and Bobby Portis left from their 2021 championship run. The situation added even more drama to a team already dealing with title pressure and constant speculation. Edens said he heard a strong commitment. Giannis said he couldn't remember the meeting even happening. The exchange turned into a full-on headline magnet, with news outlets and fans picking apart both statements. It didn't matter who people believed. The confusion stole the spotlight and sparked one of the most bizarre player-owner storylines the league's seen in years. Forgotten 50-point duel. On December 6th, 2000, the Lakers visited the Warriors in Oakland, and 2 players went absolutely nuclear. Kobe Bryant and Anton Jameson each dropped 51 points in the same game. Yes, both, same game, same night. It went to overtime, and the Warriors came out on top, winning 125-122. This was Kobe's first career 50-point game. He hit 18 of 35 shots, made all 13 of his free throws, and added 7 boards and 8 assists. He played over 51 minutes, almost the entire game. Meanwhile, Anton Jameson wasn't just keeping up, he was matching Kobe bucket for bucket. He also scored 51, shot better than 60% from the floor, and grabbed 13 rebounds. Jameson had actually dropped 51 just 3 nights earlier, making this his second straight 50-point game. That alone was wild, but going toe-to-toe with Kobe in an overtime win, that pushed it into the history books. It was the first NBA game in nearly 38 years, where 2 opposing players each scored at least 50. The last time it happened was back in 1962, when Wilt Chamberlain and Elgin Baylor put on a similar show. The Warriors were nowhere near contending that season, but Jameson's back-to-back performances gave them a rare spotlight. On the other side, Kobe was just ramping up. This performance came during the Lakers' run-up to 3 straight championships. The rest of the supporting cast faded into the background. Even Shaq's 25 points and 10 boards took a back seat. All eyes were locked on Kobe and Jameson. 2 players, 1 court, 51 apiece, in a game that's still one of the league's strangest shootouts. By the way, if you guys want to subscribe, I'm going to be posting every day. Thanks. Anyways, Wilt Chamberlain's Volleyball Hall of Fame induction. After wrapping up his basketball career in 1973, Wilt Chamberlain didn't exactly fade into retirement. He jumped straight into another sport, volleyball. And not just casually, he took it seriously. He was introduced to the game by Gene Selznick, a legend in the volleyball world, while playing beach games in Southern California. By 1975, Chamberlain wasn't just playing. He was helping launch the International Volleyball Association, a co-ed professional league. His name alone gave the league credibility. He joined the IVA's board, and by 1978, he was the league's president. He even suited up and played, hitting the court for the Seattle Smashers and the Orange County Stars. And yes, the guy dominated. He was named Most Valuable Player in the IVA's All-Star Game, which was nationally televised. For volleyball, that was huge. His presence drew crowds, got people watching, and boosted the sport's profile across the country. But it didn't stop at playing. Chamberlain supported teams, promoted the league, and got involved in growing the game. Even for co-ed squads, he wasn't just a celebrity face, he was hands-on. All that effort got him a spot in the International Volleyball Hall of Fame in Holyoke, Massachusetts. That made him one of the very few athletes ever inducted into halls of fame in multiple sports, basketball and volleyball. Chamberlain's volleyball chapter is one of the strangest and most unexpected parts of his legacy. While most athletes retire quietly, Wilt picked a new sport, became its ambassador, and ended up in another Hall of Fame. For someone already larger than life, that's just another bizarre, unmatched notch on the resume. Nate Thurman's quadruple double debut. October 18, 1974, the Chicago Bulls opened their season with a home game against the Atlanta Hawks. What started as a regular season debut turned into one of the most absurd statistical moments the league's ever seen. Nate Thurman, playing his first game for the Bulls, went ballistic. He finished with 22 points, 14 rebounds, 13 assists, and 12 blocks. That's a quadruple double, not a near one. A real official quadruple double, the first in NBA history. Thurman played 45 minutes, controlled the paint, dished out passes like a guard, and protected the rim like a maniac. And this wasn't some random February game either. This was opening night. He did it in his very first game with a new team at 33 years old. This was just the second season blocks were even recorded as an official stat. So nobody had ever been officially credited with a quadruple double before. Nate did it before most people even realized it was possible. The Bulls won that night, 125-115 in overtime. The game was tied at the end of regulation, but Thurman kept anchoring both ends into the extra period. Only 3 other players in NBA history have ever pulled this off. Alvin Robertson, Hakeem, and David Robinson. That's it, 4 total, ever. Thurman went on to the Hall of Fame and landed on the NBA's list of 50 greatest players. But this one game, his Bulls debut, might be the most ridiculous entry on his resume. Quadruple doubles don't just happen. Unless you're Nate Thurman, then you just casually drop one on opening night. LeBron James's mixed up handedness. LeBron James eats left-handed, signs autographs left-handed, and writes with his left hand. He does almost everything in life like a left. But once he steps on the basketball court, that all flips. He shoots, passes, and plays the game like a right-hander. He's never offered some deep scientific explanation for it either. LeBron has straight up said he doesn't even know how he ended up shooting with his right. He thinks it might have something to do with growing up watching right-handed legends like Michael Jordan and Penny Hardaway. That influence was enough to make his entire basketball identity right-handed. So here's what that means. In daily life, LeBron's a lefty. In basketball, he's a righty, not ambidextrous, just trained that way. Technically, this is called cross dominance. It's a real thing. People use one hand for some stuff and the other hand for something else. It's rare in regular people, but not that weird in high-level athletes. He's not pretending either. He's knocked down left-handed floaters in playoff games, not trick shots. Real, in-game, scoring. He can use both hands, but he's definitely got them split between 2 worlds. This isn't just trivia. His left-handed writing is all over memorabilia. His autographs are done with his left. His right-handed jumpers have made him one of the top scorers ever. That split-handed life is baked into his identity. LeBron didn't become a right-handed shooter because it came naturally. He trained into it, and that's what makes this story so weird. His strongest hand for eating is his opposite hand for playing basketball. He's got a Hall of Fame career with the hand he uses the least off the court. Julius Randle's broken leg. NBA debut, October 28, 2014. Julius Randle suited up for his first NBA game as a Los Angeles Laker, playing at Staples Center against the Houston Rockets. He was the 7th overall pick out of Kentucky, expected to be a major piece for the Lakers right away. But with just over 6 minutes left in the 4th quarter, things took a brutal turn. Randle drove hard to the basket, planted on his right leg, and it collapsed underneath him. There wasn't any big collision or wild contact. His leg just gave out. The result? A fractured right tibia. The bone snapped during the move. He was placed in an air cast, loaded onto a stretcher, and taken off the floor. He had scored just 2 points in 14 minutes before the injury ended his night. In his rookie season, Kobe Bryant, sitting on the bench, immediately went over to comfort him. The entire team looked rattled. Randall's debut had turned into one of the worst opening nights imaginable. Surgery followed the next day. His season was over before it even got started, but recovery kicked in fast. By March of the following year, he was cleared for non-contact drills. And on opening night, the next season, exactly 1 year later, he came back with 15 points and 11 boards. That moment was huge, not just for Randall, but for a team rebuilding its identity. He later won Most Improved Player in 2021 and became an all-star. The leg injury didn't define his career, but it's still one of the wildest, most devastating first-game moments in league history. Michael Jordan's 2-point games. Michael Jordan played 15 NBA seasons and averaged over 30 points per game. But somehow, twice, he ended a night with just 2. Not 2 dozen, 2. Both games happened in the 2002 season during his run with the Washington Wizards. The first one was April 2nd against the Lakers. The Wizards lost 113-90. Jordan only played 12 minutes and went 1 for 9 from the field. It was the lowest scoring game of his entire career. Shaq and Kobe were running things on the other side, and Jordan just never got going. But the second one, way weirder. On December 15th, the Wizards beat the Raptors 95-82. Jordan played big minutes, over 30, and still scored only 2 points. It wasn't like he got benched, he just kept missing. The play-by-play shows multiple missed jumpers and long stretches without him touching the scoreboard. This wasn't some old Jordan can't keep up storyline either. That same season, he had games with 30 or more. He dropped 45 against the Nets a month later. But on that night in Toronto, 2 points was all he could manage. For a guy who led the league in scoring 10 times and made 50-point games look casual, putting up just 2 twice is almost hard to believe, especially when one came in a blowout loss with limited minutes, and the other in a game his team actually won. It's one of the strangest blips in a career built on dominance. Jordan's worst scoring nights still get more attention than some players' best, and when you're the greatest ever, even scoring 2 points becomes a headline. Providence Steamrollers, the forgotten NBA team. Back in the 1940s, Providence, Rhode Island, actually had a professional basketball team, the Providence Steamrollers. They played in the Basketball Association of America, which eventually became the NBA. Founded in 1946, they lasted only 3 seasons before folding in 1949. Their home games were played in the Rhode Island Auditorium, and things got off to a rough start. Their overall record, 46 wins and 122 losses. They never made the playoffs. Their second season was especially brutal, just 6 wins. That total still ranks among the lowest in league history, but the team did have its moments. On December 25th, 1947, they played in the league's first Christmas Day game against the New York Knicks, kicking off a tradition that still lives on. Guard Ernie Calverley led the league in assists during the first season, and in one of the weirdest stunts ever, their head coach Nat Hickey activated himself as a player at age 46, setting a record as the oldest player in NBA history, a record that still hasn't been broken. So why did they fold? Providence was a small market, and they struggled to draw fans or compete with bigger cities. When the BAA merged with the NBL in 1949 to form the NBA, the Steamrollers weren't invited. Just like that, they disappeared. Since then, no other major league team from any of the Big Four sports has called Rhode Island home. The Steamrollers were the last. Their legacy is buried in box scores and old headlines, but they were there when pro basketball was still figuring itself out. Bad record and all. Dikembe, all-star rookie who didn't win. Rookie of the year. In the 1991 NBA draft, the Denver Nuggets selected Dikembe with the 4th overall pick. He came out of Georgetown as a shot-blocking force, already known for swatting everything in sight. Expectations were high, and somehow, he actually exceeded them. In his rookie season, Dikembe averaged over 16 points, 12 rebounds, and 3 blocks per game. Those numbers were no joke, and voters noticed he was named to the All-Rookie First Team, and more surprisingly, selected to the 1992 NBA All-Star Game. That made him one of the very few rookies ever to become an All-Star. But here's where things get weird. He didn't win Rookie of the Year. That award went to Larry Johnson, the #1 pick from the same draft. Johnson averaged strong scoring numbers and had a flashy, high-usage role in Charlotte, which helped sway voters. Dikembe finished second in the voting, even though he had made the All-Star roster and Johnson didn't. That mismatch doesn't happen often. All-Star selections usually mean you're the best rookie around, but because the voting for All-Star is based on league-wide perception and fan impact, while Rookie of the Year voting leans into scoring and season-long narrative, the two awards didn't align. Dikembe's defense was elite, his offense was solid, but Roy voters went with the box score. Dikembe still carved out a legendary career. 8 All-Star nods, 4 Defensive Player of the Year awards, and a Hall of Fame induction. Still, that rookie season remains one of the strangest award splits in NBA history. An All-Star as a rookie, but not the Rookie of the Year. The birth of dribbling. Basketball started without dribbling. Literally, when James Naismith invented the sport in 1891, the first players used a soccer ball and weren't allowed to run with it. According to the original rules, movement was only legal if you passed the ball. No steps, no bouncing, just catch and throw. Why no dribbling? The equipment was a problem. Soccer balls, and even the first lace-up leather basketballs that followed, didn't bounce predictably. Courts were slick. The concept of bouncing the ball wasn't just illegal, it didn't really work yet. But players started experimenting. By 1897, Yale was reportedly the first team to dribble, though it looked more like self-passing. Players would bounce the ball once and recover it themselves to get around the no-running rule. It wasn't flashy, but it was clever. By 1901, official rules began allowing limited dribbling, a single bounce before passing. Still no shooting off the bounce, though. That didn't arrive until the 1909 season, when continuous dribbling and shooting off the dribble were finally legalized. That shift changed the sport completely. So yes, dribbling evolved slowly. It wasn't part of the original game, and it wasn't even supposed to be. It was a workaround, a loophole. Then it became one of the game's most fundamental skills. And no, there's no evidence of players rubbing coal dust on their hands to grip the ball. That's pure nonsense. What's real is that dribbling was invented not by design, but by players pushing the rules until the game caught up. 2005, Phoenix Suns, 62 wins, 20 losses, best record in the entire NBA. That's how fast things flipped for the Phoenix Suns. Just one season earlier, they finished with 29 wins. The 33-win jump was the third biggest turnaround in league history at the time. How? Start with Steve Nash. The Suns brought him back in free agency after he'd spent years in Dallas. They added Quentin Richardson too, a reliable shooter who fit the plan. And stat, fully healthy, dominant, and averaging 26 points a night. He even dropped 50 in a single game that season. All of it ran through Mike D'Antoni's offense. The goal? Get a shot off within 7 seconds. That wasn't just marketing, that was the system. The Suns played at the fastest pace in the league, spaced the floor with shooters, and hit more three-pointers than anyone had in NBA history up to that point. Nash was the engine. He led the league with 11.5 assists per game, shot over 50% from the field and over 43% from deep. That playmaking helped earn him the league's most valuable player award. 3 Suns made the All-Star team: Nash, Stoudemire, and Sean Marion. D'Antoni won Coach of the Year. Brian Colangelo took home Executive of the Year. In the playoffs, they swept Memphis, took out Dallas in 6, but fell in 5 to the eventual champs, San Antonio. In the Western Conference Finals, even without a title, the Suns broke basketball open that season. They changed how offenses operate. 33 extra wins in 1 year wasn't just luck, it was the beginning of a new era. Atlanta Hawks drafted a baby. In 1974, the Atlanta Hawks used a real draft pick on a baby. Not a teenager, not a kid, a literal newborn. The baby's name? James Littlejohn Williams, born May 27, 1974. The draft was the next day. His father, Pat Williams, worked in the Hawks front office and apparently thought this was hilarious. So with their 10th round pick, the Hawks selected a one-day-old human. They even listed his height and weight, 19.5 inches, 7 pounds, 5 ounces. Born at Piedmont Hospital in Atlanta. The announcement sounded like a baby shower announcement disguised as a draft pick. At the league office in New York, things got weird. Officials saw the name James Williams and thought the pick referred to Fly Williams, a legit streetball legend. But once they realized the pick was for a baby who couldn't sit up, let alone dunk, the league stepped in. The NBA voided the pick. Back then, the draft had way more rounds than today, 10 or more. It wasn't unheard of for teams to burn late picks on stunts or jokes, but this was the youngest pick ever, by a wide, absurd margin. James never played basketball. Pat Williams, however, went on to help build championship teams, including the early 86ers. But this baby draft story stuck. To this day, no one younger has been drafted. The youngest actual NBA player to debut remains Bill Willoughby, who played at 18. One-day-old James, still the most ridiculous draft prospect in league history. George Mikan played through a broken leg. In the 1951 Western Division Finals, George Mikan, already the league's most dominant big man, fractured his leg. But instead of sitting out, he taped a metal plate to it and kept playing. That's not a metaphor. Doctors literally strapped a plate to his leg so he could hobble onto the court. The Lakers were facing the Rochester Royals, and it was a brutal series. Mikan wasn't just limping around, he was hopping on one foot. And somehow, even like that, he still managed to score in the 20s every game. This was a time before the shot clock, when post play was everything, and Mikan was the offense. Despite his effort, the Lakers lost the series 3-1. His injury clearly limited their chances, but the fact that he played at all, let alone put up serious numbers, became a foundational myth of the old-school NBA. This wasn't his first injury stunt either. 2 years earlier, during the 1949 finals, Mikan played with a broken wrist. He dropped 22 points in Game 5 with a cast on. That's just what he did. He broke bones. He kept playing. The league was still new. The rules were still forming, and guys like Mikan were expected to keep grinding no matter what. Playing through a fractured leg in the playoffs is something few stars in any era have done. For Mikan, it was just another night at work, with one good leg and 20 points on the board. Grant Hill and Jason Kidd tied for Rookie of the Year. The 1994-95 NBA season ended with something that almost never happens, a tie for Rookie of the Year. Grant Hill of the Detroit Pistons and Jason Kidd of the Dallas Mavericks split the award after finishing with the exact same number of first-place votes. It's one of the rarest outcomes in league history. Hill, the third overall pick, was electric for Detroit. He averaged nearly 20 points a game, along with 6.4 rebounds, 5 assists, and nearly 2 steals. He played 70 games and became the first Pistons rookie in years to break 1,000 points. Kidd, drafted second overall by Dallas, wasn't the same kind of scorer, but his impact was just as real. He averaged 11.7 points, 5.4 rebounds, and 7.7 assists. He ran the Mavericks offense, controlled tempo, and showed the kind of passing vision that would define his career. When it came time to vote, the panel of writers and broadcasters couldn't choose. The votes came back tied, and the league named both as co-winners. Glenn Robinson, the first pick, had strong numbers too, and other rookies like Eddie Jones and Juwan Howard got attention, but it was Hill and Kidd at the top. They both made the all-rookie first team. They both went on to become multiple-time All-Stars. Hill was a versatile forward with superstar upside, and Kidd became one of the greatest point guards ever. But during that one season, voters couldn't separate them, so the NBA didn't, and gave them both the award. One rookie class, 2 winners, and one of the strangest deadlocks in league history. Dennis Rodman's strategy. Dennis Rodman didn't treat rebounding like a grind. He treated it like math class with sneakers. He'd literally count the number of times the ball spun through the air after a shot just to figure out where it'd bounce if it missed. During warm-ups, while everyone else was doing layups like normal humans, Rodman was off to the side, silently watching the ball in flight, like it had just insulted his family. He did this on purpose. He'd track rotation, the arc of the shot, and where it was likely to come off the rim. He even studied different types of misses and tracked how specific shooters tended to miss. If the shot was flat, he'd note the shorter bounce. If it had more spin, he'd predict a longer rebound. He wasn't reacting. He was already moving before the ball even hit the rim. That wasn't luck. That was hours of obsessing over tiny details. Rodman would even ask his friends to shoot bricks on purpose so he could memorize where the ball would go after different types of misses. That's how he trained. It wasn't about jumping higher. It was about showing up in the exact spot the ball landed before anyone else even turned around. All this led to him leading the league in rebounds for 7 straight seasons. He averaged more than 18 rebounds per game in 2 of them. Stat nerds confirmed it. Rodman had one of the highest rebound percentages in NBA history. His defense was wild, but his rebounding was art backed by geometry. John Stockton's fractured leg. This wasn't some freak injury in a random scrimmage. Stockton broke his leg during an actual pre-Olympic tournament game against Team Canada. This was in the Tournament of the Americas, the official warm-up series for the Dream Team. He was backpedaling on defense, Michael Jordan was sprinting back, and their paths collided. Jordan's knee slammed into Stockton's leg, and that was that. X-rays after the game showed an undisplaced fracture in his right fibula. That means the bone cracked, but didn't shift, which sounds better until you remember it's still a broken leg. The medical staff ruled him out of the rest of the tournament. His status for the Olympics was instantly in doubt, and media started wondering if the Dream Team might need a replacement. At the time, Stockton was already 30 and one of the best point guards in the league. He wasn't just some random add-on. He was a key veteran presence. And now, He was on crutches. The timing couldn't have been worse. Despite the pain, he told the team he felt fine and even tried to keep playing. That didn't last. Coaches pulled him immediately. He'd end up traveling with the team anyway, but his Olympic minutes were limited. Still, he suited up, wore extra protection, and played through it. It wasn't the full-strength version of Stockton, but it was enough. The team still dominated, and he walked away with a gold medal. The fact that he even played showed how much he cared about the game. A broken leg in June, gold in August. Not bad for a guy who almost didn't make the roster. Mitchell Robinson's offensive rebounding number. Mitchell Robinson is on an absolute tear on the offensive glass. He's averaging 12.2 offensive rebounds per 100 possessions. That's not just good, that's historic. He's grabbing boards at a higher rate than 22 entire teams. Not 22 players, 22 full rosters. That's cartoonish. New York as a team averages 14 offensive rebounds per 100 possessions. Robinson's responsible for nearly all of that by himself. It's like the Knicks told him to just live under the basket and destroy anything that bounces off the rim. And somehow, he's making that work. Forget the per possession stuff for a second. He's averaging 4.7 offensive rebounds a game while playing under 19 minutes. That's almost one board every 4 minutes. Players don't usually do that unless they're either time travelers from the 1990s or possessed by the ghost of Moses Malone. Robinson might be both. The numbers make it look like he's just cherry-picking missed shots, but the film shows him out-muscling, out-timing, and out-anticipating everyone. His ability to slide in, grab position, and get that rebound before anyone else even jumps is just wild. You watch a possession, miss the shot, and suddenly Robinson is just there again, tipping, resetting, and punishing lazy box outs. He's not out there hunting highlight dunks or shooting threes. He's rebounding like a full-time job. His energy on the boards is straight up punishing for defenses. Every time the other team thinks they've ended a possession, Robinson says not yet and brings it right back. Shea's garage sale, one of the most stylish players in the league, starts each season by opening a garage sale, but not for fans or fashion influencers, just for his teammates. Every preseason, Shea invites the Oklahoma City Thunder roster to shop directly from his personal closet. And this isn't a one-time thing. He's been doing it for a few years now, and he even calls it SGA's garage sale. According to Shea himself, the clothes come from his own wardrobe, stuff he's actually worn, and he keeps the prices low on purpose. He's not trying to cash out. He just wants his teammates to walk into the arena looking sharp. This is how a fashion icon builds locker room morale. And this isn't random hand-me-down stuff. We're talking designer fits. The kind of outfits that usually only show up in high-end lookbooks or style blogs. But instead of letting those pieces collect dust, Shea turns them into preseason swag for his teammates. No outsiders allowed. It's teammates only. He gives them fashion tips too, so the whole team steps up its tunnel game. It's like Shea's running a personal style seminar that just happens to involve cut-rate Dior jackets and pre-worn outfits from last season's media day. He's taken a role most players wouldn't even think about, team fashion captain, and turned it into an annual tradition. The best part? Nobody else in the league is doing this. It's just one more way Shea manages to stand out without even stepping on the court. Garage sale season hits different when it comes with a side of runway-ready drip. Magic Johnson's center game. The year was 1980, and the Los Angeles Lakers were up 3-2 against the 76ers in the finals. But their superstar center, Kareem, was out. A sprained ankle from the previous game meant he couldn't even make the trip to Philadelphia. So with the title on the line, the Lakers had a hole in the middle. And who filled it? Their 20-year-old rookie point guard. Magic Johnson started at center. Let that sink in. He was supposed to run the offense, not bang with 7-footers under the rim. But none of that mattered, because once the game tipped off, he didn't just survive, he dismantled Philly. Magic scored 42 points, grabbed 15 rebounds, and added 7 assists. He even hit all 14 of his free throws. Not bad for a guy who wasn't even supposed to be there. He didn't just stay planted at center either. He moved around like a shape-shifting basketball machine, playing every single position on the floor. Point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, center, all in one game. And not just any game, the finals clincher. The Lakers won 123-107, and Magic, he walked off with the finals MVP trophy. Still the only rookie in NBA history to ever do it. His performance wasn't just legendary, it was something out of a basketball fever dream. No Kareem, no problem. The rookie just casually dropped one of the most iconic performances in league history and helped seal a championship in his very first season. Jalen Williams and the number 6. When the NBA announced it was retiring Bill Russell's number 6 league-wide, it was a massive historical move. It was the first time the league had ever done that. One number taken off the table for every single team. But the rule came with a twist. Anyone already wearing 6 could keep it. No new players could pick it. But if you already had it, you were locked in. Fast forward, and Jalen Williams of the Oklahoma City Thunder is now the last man standing. He's the only active NBA player still wearing number 6. Everyone else who had it either changed their number, retired, or switched teams and dropped it. But Williams, still rocking it. He was drafted in 2022, right before the rule took effect. Since then, he's held on to that number, which puts him in one of the weirdest situations in league history. He's not just wearing a jersey, he's wearing a legacy. The number 6 belongs to Bill Russell, the man with 11 championships and one of the most important careers in basketball and civil rights history. Williams has said he's honored to wear it. And yeah, it's a big deal. Once he eventually changes numbers or leaves the league, that'll be it. Nobody else will ever wear number 6 again in an NBA game. Williams is the final chapter in a number that's already been closed to the rest of the league. So every time he steps on the court, he's carrying a piece of basketball history stitched right onto his back. A number retired forever, but still active. For now, J.R. Smith's shoelace untying. On January 5th, 2014, during a Knicks game against the Mavericks, Smith pulled one of the weirdest in-game stunts ever. While Shawn Marion was standing at the free throw line, Smith bent down and untied Marion's shoelace on live television. No warning, no trash talk, just straight up reached down and did it. The league noticed. They issued a warning, told him to knock it off. 2 days later, he did it again. This time, he went after Greg Monroe during a game against the Pistons. Same deal, free throw line, unsuspecting opponent, and Smith reaching down like it was recess. That second stunt cost him $50,000. The NBA fined him for recurring unsportsmanlike conduct. It wasn't technically a suspension, but it worked like one. The message was loud and clear. Don't mess with opponents' gear. His coach, Mike Woodson, wasn't thrilled either. He said it was unacceptable and flat out unprofessional. Even said he'd already told Smith to stop. But apparently, Smith needed the financial incentive to listen. The league's Rod Thorne, head of basketball operations at the time, made the fine official and confirmed that repeat nonsense would keep getting punished. The shoelace thing might sound harmless, but it wasn't just a prank. Players rely on their shoes being secure. Tampering with laces during a live game could have led to someone tripping or getting injured. That's why this was a big deal. Smith became the only player in NBA history fined for untying someone's shoes. Not exactly a record you brag about, but hey, at least it was original. The fine ended the behavior, and the league moved on. Laces stayed tied. Kyrie Irving's sage ritual. In December of 2020, before a game at TD Garden, Kyrie walked around the court burning sage. He called it smudging, a Native American ritual meant to cleanse bad energy. It wasn't just a performance. Kyrie's got tribal heritage through the Standing Rock Sioux, and he made it clear this was personal. He said he'd keep doing it as long as the opposing team and arena were fine with it. The NBA didn't freak out. They didn't ban it or throw out some last-minute restriction, but they did send a reminder to all teams. No rituals involving fire or smoke unless they're cleared by venue officials first. It wasn't about Kyrie. It was about fire codes, especially in older buildings like the Garden, where a tiny bit of smoke can trigger alarms or violate city safety rules. So the league added a step. If a player wants to smudge or do anything with smoke or open flame, they need pre-approval from the team, the league, the arena, and sometimes even the local fire marshal. Not a hard no, just an extra form. They didn't take a side on the meaning of the ritual. The NBA stayed neutral. They just made sure rituals didn't turn into fire hazards. The policy wasn't about silencing culture. It was about not setting the hardwood on fire. So Kyrie's sage wasn't banned. It just came with some fine print. And now, any player trying to light something up before tip-off needs more than a lighter. They need clearance. The smoke can rise, but only if it passes inspection first. Dwight Howard's Stickum. The whole thing went down in Atlanta on March 19, 2016. Dwight was waiting to check back into the game when he casually sprayed Stickum on his hand. Yeah, the same stuff that used to make football stick like duct tape in the NFL. Paul Millsap grabbed the ball after Dwight did and instantly called it out. Said it felt like super glue. Refs took the ball, found the Stickum can taped up at the scorer's table, and made sure everyone knew. Stickum was absolutely not allowed. No technicals were handed out. Dwight stayed in the game like nothing happened, which is wild. The Rockets coach even tried blocking the spray can with his body. Smooth move, but it didn't work. Officials still took the can away and sent a little reminder that this wasn't allowed. Dwight, he didn't even try to play it off. He straight up admitted he'd been using it for 5 years, claimed it helped to dry his hands and wasn't cheating, said he never hit it, and acted like people were overreacting. 2 days later, the league dropped a memo banning all adhesive sprays before and during games. Chalk and resin were fine, but no more stickum. No fines, no suspensions, just a warning. The league didn't even change the rulebook, just made it really clear. They decided Dwight's super sticky ritual went too far, even if he didn't think it was a big deal. It's still one of the weirdest things to spark a new rule, mostly because he was so open about it. And now, no more stickum, ever. By the way, if you guys want to subscribe, I'm gonna be posting every day. Thanks. Anyways, Kelly Oubre's Supreme Sleeve. On December 12th, 2017, Kelly stepped onto the court rocking a bright red shooting sleeve on his right leg during a Wizards game against the Nets. It had Supreme, Nike, and NBA logos printed across it, loud and proud. Not surprisingly, it caught eyes fast, but by halftime, it was gone. The Wizards told him to take it off, and the NBA's policy was the reason. No brand logos on court gear unless it's part of an official league deal, and Supreme had zero partnership. Kelly looked confused about the whole thing. He thought it was all good since Nike and NBA logos were on there too. After the game, he joked that maybe it was just too wavy for the league. That word stuck. Wavy, in fashion talk, basically meant the sleeve was stylish. He wasn't trying to make a scene. He just liked the look. Thing is, this wasn't brand new. In 2013, Nick Young wore Supreme sneakers and got attention. Then just days after Kelly's sleeve, J.R. Smith pulled the same move with the Supreme branded arm sleeve. The league responded hard. When Smith got a tattoo of the logo, they made him cover it up during games or face a fine every time. The NBA wasn't messing around when it came to brand visibility. Even with all that, Supreme stayed popular with players off the court. Guys like PJ Tucker and Devin Booker kept rocking it. But once you stepped into the game, it was the NBA's rules that mattered. If a brand didn't pay, it didn't play. That leg sleeve may have been cool, but the league made sure it wasn't coming back. LeBron James chalk toss. It all started in Cleveland. Early in his career, LeBron would head to the scorer's table, clap talcum powder into his hands, and launch a cloud of chalk into the air. It was dramatic, it was theatrical, and it fired up arenas every night. Inspired by Michael Jordan and Kevin Garnett, the ritual became his signature. Fans showed up early, just to catch the moment. Phones raised like they were filming a movie premiere, but not every building loved it. Certain arenas, like Barclays Center, stopped providing chalk altogether. The issue wasn't the hype, it was the mess. Chalk got everywhere. Powder drifted onto the scorer's table, the floor, even fans. Cleanup crews had to scramble before tip-off, so some venues politely shut it down. LeBron didn't make a scene. When he played for Miami, the toss quietly disappeared. And during his second stint in Cleveland, he brought it back briefly, then stopped again by December of 2014. He downplayed the change, saying he just preferred to shoot with teammates before the game and didn't see why people made a big deal about it. There was never an NBA rule against the toss. It wasn't some league crackdown. This came from individual venues that didn't want to deal with floating chalk clouds and powdery sidelines. LeBron respected. He adjusted his routine depending on where he was playing. Even without a ban, the chalk toss is a perfect example of how player rituals can run into arena logistics. It wasn't rebellion or superstition, it was just one of those moments where spectacle met Swiffer duty. The toss meant a lot to fans, but when the dust settled, it wasn't bigger than the floor crew. Andrei Kirilenko's AK-47 nickname. It started out simple. His initials were A and K. He wore number 47. He was born in Russia, so naturally, AK-47 stuck. It was catchy, it made sense, and fans loved it. The nickname followed him throughout his time with the Utah Jazz and became one of the most recognizable in the league. But when nickname jerseys became a thing in January of 2013, the league drew a line. The Nets and Heat had a special game where players wore their nicknames on official jerseys. Everyone expected to see AK-47 stitched across Kirilenko's back. Instead, nothing. No AK-47 jersey showed up. The reason? The NBA didn't like the reference to a military weapon. His jersey said his last name written in Cyrillic script, the alphabet used in Russian. There wasn't a formal announcement or rule change, just a quiet, intentional exclusion. The league didn't want a gun name on team gear. Even though the nickname had zero violent intent and was rooted in Kirilenko's background, it didn't matter. The association was too strong, so the name stayed off the jerseys. This wasn't just a fashion call, it was about brand protection. The NBA controls what goes on uniform, period. They didn't want even a whiff of gun imagery on official merch. It reflected a wider policy shift after 2010, when the league started cracking down harder on things that could cause controversy. Players could use nicknames, but not if they sounded like assault rifles. The nickname AK-47 still lives on in broadcasts, interviews, reviews and highlights. Fans kept using it. The media didn't drop it. But the NBA made one thing clear. On the jersey, not happening. And that silent decision turned a beloved nickname into another example of the league's no-nonsense approach to branding. Meta, World, Peace name changes on jerseys. If it's not your legal name, it's not going on the jersey. Period. That's the NBA's line, and they don't bend it. You can't slap a nickname, slogan, or message on the back just because it sounds cool or you feel like making a statement. If it hasn't been legally changed through the courts, the league shuts it down. No exceptions. Look at Ron Artest. He didn't just tell the Lakers he wanted to be called Meta World Peace. He went to court, got it legally changed, and only then did the NBA approve World Peace on his jersey, starting in the 2011 to 2012 season. That wasn't a publicity stunt, it was paperwork. When he changed it again in 2020 to Meta Sandiford Artest, the NBA updated their records because he did it the right way. Same thing happened with Enes Kanter when he became a U.S. citizen in November 2021 and added freedom to his name. The league didn't flinch. The Celtics jersey said freedom the next game because the legal name change was complete. But if a player wants to wear something symbolic without changing their name legally, not happening. The NBA's jersey policy is strict. Only your government-recognized name makes it onto your back. They've never allowed anything else. Not slogans, not statements, not branding, not even well-meaning causes. If it's not your legal identity, it's not league approved. The NBA's message is crystal clear. Your jersey is not a billboard or a nickname playground. It's your name, and only your legal name. No shortcuts, no exception. Just the law and the stitching to match. Rajon Rondo's upside-down headband. Back in the late 2000s, Rondo started flipping his NBA headband so the league logo was upside down. No official explanation ever came out, but most figured it was some mix of superstition, personal style, or just Rondo doing Rondo things. It didn't take long for fans to notice. It became a signature part of his look. But the league? Yeah, they noticed too. And they weren't into it. In October of 2010, the NBA updated the dress code to ban upside-down or inside-out headbands. The logo had to be front and right side up. That rule was directly aimed at Rondo's upside-down style. League officials said the headband thing clashed with their branding. Basically, it was a walking, sweating logo flip. And the NBA wasn't about to let that slide. Once the rule dropped, Rondo didn't just rotate the headband back, he ditched it completely. Instead of complying, he stopped wearing one altogether. That part said more than words. It wasn't just about a piece of cloth, it was about control and presentation. The NBA, especially under Commissioner Stern, was hyper-focused on image. They had rules about tape color, sock height, you name it. And this wasn't just some temporary crackdown. The upside-down ban stayed in place. A few players tried to mimic the look later on, but officials usually stepped in fast. Rondo's short-lived trend didn't last, but it left its mark. Another example of how even the smallest fashion choice can turn into a league policy. The NBA keeps things tight. Rondo just happened to cross one of the more unexpected lines. Gilbert Arenas' finger gun gesture. The whole mess started on December 24th, 2009. Arenas brought unloaded guns into the Wizards' locker room after a fight over a game with teammate Javaris Crittenton. Not great. Crittenton responded by pulling a loaded weapon. Teammates ran. The league didn't waste time. Both players got suspended for the rest of the 2009 to 2010 season without pay. Arenas later pleaded guilty to carrying an unlicensed pistol and was sentenced to 30 days in a halfway house with 2 years of probation. But somehow, things still got worse. On January 6th, during pre-game warm-ups, his birthday by the way, Arenas pointed finger guns at his teammates like nothing ever happened. The cameras caught everything. Commissioner Stern called the gesture unacceptable and suspended him indefinitely. A few weeks later, on January 27th, that suspension was extended to the rest of the season. He never really recovered in the league after that. The NBA made their stance clear. Even fake guns weren't allowed. Finger gun gestures became officially banned. The league considers them unsportsmanlike and threatening. Not just a joke, not a harmless celebration, just a bad look. Arenas made that clear, the hard way. That one moment, finger guns in the middle of an ongoing investigation, became the final straw, and the NBA didn't forget. Years later, players like Ja Morant got fined for similar gestures. $75,000 gone just for pointing his fingers. So yeah, the rule stuck. For Arenas, the entire incident tore apart his season and dragged down his career. One of the most explosive guards in the league turned into a cautionary tale. Fingers first. Iman Shumpert's Adidas haircut. In April of 2013, Shumpert showed up on the court with a bold move. He shaved the Adidas three-stripe logo right into the back of his high-top fade. He was an Adidas athlete. So it wasn't random. He even posted it on Instagram with a proud little hashtag saying, "I put on." The logo was clean, centered, and extremely visible during the Knicks game. But that didn't fly with the NBA. According to league rules, the only place a commercial logo is allowed on a player is on their shoes, not on sleeves, socks, accessories, and definitely not in your haircut. The league reached out fast. After just one game, they told Shumpert to remove it immediately. He didn't push back. He shaved it out and posted another photo online with the caption band, tagging the NBA and apologizing for not knowing it was a violation. This wasn't just about hair, it was about keeping the on-court image clean and consistent. The NBA doesn't want players walking billboards unless the league's cashing in too. Logos in the hair meant the player was using their body as marketing space, and the league said nope, not happening. Shumpert didn't argue. He just rocked a blank patch instead. Even though it lasted one game, the whole thing showed how serious the NBA is about presentation. You could wear flashy colors, wild cuts, wild shoes, but don't sneak in an unsanctioned logo. Shumpert learned the rule the hard way, and honestly, the league sent a message that style can bend, but branding, that stays under lock. D. Wade's decorative band-aids. In February of 2009, Wade returned to the court with stitches under his left eye and wore a band-aid during games. But he didn't stop there. He started sporting custom designs, American flags, all-star graphics, his nickname Flash, and even one that just said Wade. It was part fashion, part flex, and the fans ate it up. Wade said half the arena started showing up in band-aids. Even Lil Wayne rocked one courtside. The whole thing exploded. But the NBA wasn't interested in another fashion wave that slipped past their uniform rules. Vice President Tim Frank stepped in and made it clear. Players could wear band-aids for health reasons, but no names, no slogans, no logos, not on accessories, and definitely not on your face. The policy had always existed. Only shoes could feature a logo, but now it was enforced. By early March, the league banned decorative band-aids. There were no fines, no public reprimands, just a straight-up directive. Wade removed them without protest, and the trend vanished almost overnight. This was part of a bigger trend. The NBA had already clamped down on accessories that blurred the line between medical necessity and personal branding. Jordan got fined for wearing non-regulation sneakers. Ninja headbands got pulled. Even hair and socks weren't safe. Wade's band-aids became another example of where fashion met the league's wall. They were harmless, sure, but once they turned into mobile billboards, the NBA pulled the plug. It wasn't about injury anymore. It was about presentation. And if it didn't fit the brand, it didn't stay on the floor. Wade made it iconic, but the league made sure it didn't become a staple. Stephen Jackson's malice at the Palace reforms. After the chaos that broke out on November 19, 2004, between the Pacers and Pistons, the NBA knew it couldn't keep running arenas the same way. Jackson jumping into the stands and throwing punches wasn't just a bad look. It triggered a league-wide security reset. By February 2005, the NBA had rolled out new rules for every single arena. First, they required at least 3 security guards to be posted between fans and players at all times. The idea was simple: stop anyone from crossing that invisible line again. Those guards weren't just symbolic. They were meant to physically block access and prevent a repeat of what happened in Detroit. Then came the alcohol rules. The league capped drinks at 24 ounces, limited fans to buying 2 at a time, and shut down sales after the third quarter. Fans could still have their beers, but the idea was to cool things off before emotions and alcohol boiled over. And arenas now had to post a fan code of conduct on signs, on screens, over the PA system. Everyone had to be reminded what behavior was expected. If a fan acted out, staff were empowered to throw them out or even ban them. No more gray areas. All these changes were announced during All-Star Weekend, just months after the brawl. It wasn't just reactionary, it became the blueprint for keeping player-fan interaction safe and professional. Jackson's punch wasn't the only issue, but it was the wake-up call. These rules didn't just protect players, they redefined how NBA venues operated. Other leagues noticed. The standards shifted, and they've never shifted back. Jason Terry's sock situation. Back when he was lighting it up from 3, Jason Terry had another signature move: knee-high socks, pulled all the way up, often with big, bold logos. These weren't standard issue. They were custom, flashy, and definitely not NBA approved. Some had personal designs, others had brands. Either way, they stood out, and that was the problem. The NBA noticed fast. League policy already controlled what could be worn on the court, but Terry's socks pushed things into a gray zone. They weren't shoes, but they were visible, branded, and outside official gear. So the league didn't just talk about it, they locked it down. Soon after Terry's sock statement started catching attention, the NBA banned unauthorized sock branding outright. If it didn't come from a league-approved partner, it wasn't allowed, period. No more logos, creeping up the shins. Only officially sanctioned sock brands made the cut, and even those had to follow uniform guidelines for color and visibility. Terry's fashion flair might have been harmless, but to the league, it was another case of brand control slipping. And the NBA doesn't let presentation slide. If it goes on your body, it goes through the league. Socks included. Allen Iverson's dress code impact. In the early 2000s, Iverson wasn't just changing the game, he was changing how players looked walking into it. Baggy jeans, do-rags, oversized jewelry, snapbacks, Timberlands. It was bold, unapologetic, and completely outside the NBA's old-school image, and the league had a problem with it. On October 17, 2005, Commissioner David Stern dropped a league-wide dress code. No hats, no jeans, no Timberlands, no big chains, no do-rags, no jerseys, no sneakers off the court. It wasn't subtle. It was a targeted crackdown on the exact look Iverson had made iconic. The NBA never named him, but everyone knew who it was aimed at. Iverson called it out, said it was about erasing culture, not cleaning up the game. His response? An assassin in a suit is still an assassin. He saw the rule as a way to bury identity behind business casual. Other players pushed back too. Stephen Jackson, Paul Pierce. They weren't buying the idea that suits meant professionalism and baggy clothes meant trouble. But the league didn't back down. The policy stuck. And even though it started as a restriction, it sparked something new. Over time, players began bending the dress code, then owning it, bringing in designer fits, luxury brands, and tunnel fashion shoots. The rule that tried to silence streetwear ended up creating the modern NBA-style spotlight. But make no mistake, this started with control. The league didn't want anything on the players that sent the wrong message. That's why the oversized chains and snapbacks had to go. It wasn't just about clothes, it was about image. And the NBA wanted to choose it, not inherit it from Allen Iverson. Karl Malone's elbows and the NBA's rule shift. On December 14, 1991, Karl Malone sent an elbow straight into Isaiah Thomas's face. The result? A massive gash above the eye and 40 stitches. Thomas called it the dirtiest play he'd ever experienced. Malone was ejected, suspended for 1 game, and fined $10,000, but the damage was already done. That hit wasn't an isolated moment. In May of 1999, Malone did it again, this time elbowing Portland's Brian Grant and drawing another $10,000 fine. By then, it wasn't just a bad night, it was a pattern. Malone's elbows were becoming infamous, and the league started getting called out for letting it slide. But the NBA had enough. While the flagrant foul rule technically existed since the early 80s and was refined in 1991 to include automatic ejections for flagrant 2 calls, Malone's style forced officials to actually start using it. Refs were instructed to crack down on excessive elbows and dirty post play. Offensive fouls became more strictly enforced. Flagrant calls started flying. Physical contact that had been standard in the 80s became whistle-worthy in the 90s. Malone's hits, especially the one on Thomas, turned into the turning point. The league's response? Stricter enforcement, bigger consequences, and a push away from brawling in the paint. What used to be part of playing tough became a liability. Officials began treating elbows like weapons, and post players could no longer throw them without facing fines, ejections, or suspension. Malone wasn't the only reason for the shift, but his repeated elbows and the blood that followed forced the NBA to draw a line. It was no longer just about toughness, it was about safety. And elbows were now officially under the microscope. Amir Johnson's free throw ejection. On December 10th, 2012, during a game in Portland, Amir Johnson tried to keep a ritual alive, rubbing the ball between free throws. It wasn't new, he'd done it before. But that night, referee David Jones wasn't having it. When Johnson reached for the ball, Jones pulled it back. Johnson pulled again. And suddenly, it was a full-on tug-of-war with the ref in the middle of a live game. Jones ejected him immediately. Johnson didn't go quietly. As he walked off the court, he launched his mouthpiece at the ref. It hit Jones in the back. That one move turned a weird exchange into a league incident. The NBA responded the next day with a 1-game suspension without pay. Johnson publicly apologized, calling it childish and admitting he lost his cool. But the league didn't stop with the punishment. They issued a clear reminder. Players are not allowed to interfere with officiating during free throw procedures. That means no tugging, no grabbing, and no trying to dictate the flow. When a ref controls the ball, the player steps back. End of story. This moment might have looked minor, just a player sticking to his pre-shot habit, but it turned into a cautionary tale. The NBA reinforced that officials have absolute control over in-game possessions during stoppages. Even seemingly small things, like a tug for the ball, can lead to ejections when they cross that line. Johnson's 1-game suspension came with a much larger message. Free throw routines are hands off. The ball belongs to the official until they say otherwise. Any challenge to that? Automatic trouble. Joakim Noah's anti-gay slur incident on May 22, 2011, during Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Finals between the Bulls and the Heat. Cameras caught Noah on the bench yelling an anti-gay slur toward a fan. The audio was clear, the footage was immediate, and the reaction came fast. Noah later apologized, saying he got emotional in the heat of the moment and didn't mean to offend anyone. The very next day, the NBA fined him $50,000. It was a serious fine, but notably half of what Kobe Bryant had been fined earlier that same season for a similar slur directed at a referee. The league said the difference came down to who the comment was aimed at, not the language itself. Still, both cases put the NBA's tolerance level under a spotlight. Advocacy groups like GLAAD and the Human Rights Campaign called out the league, not just to punish Noah, but to take real steps toward preventing this kind of language entirely. The NBA responded. Commissioner David Stern made it clear that homophobic slurs had no place in the league, on the court, or off. After this, the NBA stepped up its policy game. The league began enforcing stricter fines and launched campaigns promoting inclusivity. Since 2011, over $600,000 in penalties have been issued for discriminatory speech across players, coaches, and team staff. Education programs were introduced. Public statements became stronger. The NBA made it clear: zero tolerance. Noah's fine wasn't just about one outburst. It became part of a much larger shift. The league moved toward a clear standard. If you bring hate into the game, you're out of line, and you're paying for it. Manu's bat incident. On October 31st, 2009, during a first quarter break at the AT&T Center in San Antonio, a Mexican free-tailed bat swooped onto the court during a Spurs-Kings game. While arena staff scrambled with towels, Manu stepped up, tracked the bat mid-flight, and swatted it straight out of the air with his bare hand. He picked it up like it was nothing and handed it off. The crowd went wild, but the aftermath was no joke. Because bats can carry rabies, Manu was immediately given disinfectant and later received a full series of rabies shots. While only a small percentage of bats carry the virus, the exposure risk was real. The incident, caught on national broadcast, forced the Spurs and the AT&T Center to reconsider how seriously they were taking in-arena wildlife. Following that moment, the Spurs took significant precautions. Arena staff were instructed to report any flying animals immediately. The building increased its surveillance in the rafters, especially during evening events. Game day crews added new checks, especially near vents and upper concourses. It wasn't just casual awareness, it became a serious part of venue protocol. They even brought in the mascot. In later seasons, the Coyote dressed as Batman, armed with a net and ready to respond if bats returned during warm-ups. It was funny on the surface, but the message was clear. They weren't about to let another winged invader disrupt a game or put anyone at risk again. This wasn't just about one swat. The bat incident forced the Spurs' home arena to tighten procedures and take wildlife threats seriously. After Manu's one-handed save, the AT&T Center made sure they'd never be caught that off guard again. Chris Paul's punches. Chris Paul didn't just irritate opponents with trash talk or flopping, he earned a reputation for going low. Literally, back in college at Wake Forest, he was suspended one game after swinging at Julius Hodge in a way that made every man watching wince. That was in 2005, and the ACC made sure he sat out, sending a pretty clear message, but he didn't stop there. Once he hit the NBA, Paul kept finding ways to get attention for the wrong reasons. His below-the-belt history didn't come from one wild moment, it came from a pattern. Over the years, he had multiple incidents with players like Chris Kaman and Kevin Durant, and the league didn't love it. Media started labeling him with titles he probably didn't want, and let's just say it wasn't flattering. Then there was the 2020 playoff game between Oklahoma City and Houston. Paul caught Ben McLemore in the worst way possible. And even though the league called it accidental, fans weren't buying it. But here's the twist. The NBA never made a new rule with his name on it. Instead, they cranked up enforcement on what counts as unsportsmanlike, especially when it targets, well, the sensitive zones. Flagrant foul calls got stricter, and groin shots weren't going to slide by unnoticed anymore. So no, Paul didn't write the rule book on low blows, but he definitely gave the league a reason to flip to that chapter way more often. His antics helped shape how refs crack down on cheap shots, especially the kind that make players drop to the floor for reasons that have nothing to do with bad defense. Ron Artest's rap break request. In November of 2004, Ron Artest pulled off one of the strangest midseason moves anyone had seen. While playing for the Indiana Pacers, he asked head coach Rick Carlisle for an entire month off. Not for an injury, not for personal leave, but to promote his rap album. He was exhausted, sure, but also juggling his label and a rhythm and blues project under True Warrior Entertainment. He said he just needed some rest, but yeah, he also needed time to push my world. Not exactly the usual recovery plan. The Pacers didn't bite. The team flat out denied the request and benched him for 2 games. Officially, they said it was because of fatigue, but no one was fooled. Carlisle wasn't having it and made it clear the request crossed a line. He said it compromised the team's integrity, and honestly, it did. Imagine your star asking for a sabbatical to be a music mogul during the season. The NBA didn't roll out any flashy new policy in response, but the message was loud and clear. Teams and league officials began quietly advising players to leave their side gigs for the offseason. Media tours, album releases, any off-court passion projects. All of that was fine, but not while regular season games were happening. Artest didn't break a rule, but he pushed the league to draw a boundary. From then on, players who wanted to be artists, entrepreneurs, or full-blown entertainers were reminded the court comes first. And if you're tired from making beats, maybe don't ask for a vacation during a playoff push. Moses Brown, in ESPN's class of 2018 rankings, he landed at number 15 overall, standing out as one of the top centers in the nation. He was ahead of Darius Garland and Emmanuel Quickley. And among big men, he only trailed Bol Bol. At Archbishop Malloy in New York City, his senior year was huge. After a massive growth spurt, he grabbed the CHSAA League MVP, became the school's first McDonald's All-American since 1989. When it came time for college, he chose UCLA over powerhouse programs like Kentucky and Maryland. His freshman year, strong enough to earn him a spot on the Pac-12 All-Freshman team, and he made a statement in his debut with 19 points and 17 rebounds. The pro jump wasn't smooth. He went undrafted in 2019, but still found his way onto NBA rosters in Portland, Oklahoma City, Cleveland, LA, Brooklyn, Indiana, and Dallas. In the G League with Westchester, he stacked honors like first team in 2021, second team in 2025, plus 2 all-defensive team selections, and even a Winter Showcase championship in 2024. Josh Jackson. As an 8th grader at Detroit Consortium College Prep, he was already putting up 17 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists a game. By freshman year, he helped his team reach the Michigan Class C quarterfinals with 18 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, plus strong defense stats with steals and blocks. His sophomore season was even bigger, leading Consortium to its first state title while averaging 28 points, 15 rebounds, and 6 assists. Then came prolific prep in Napa for his junior year, where he posted over 31 points, nearly 18 rebounds, and more than 5 assists per game, starting all 36 contests and guiding the team to 29 wins. He became co-MVP of the 2016 McDonald's All-American game, scoring 19 in the West 114 to 107 win. In ESPN's final rankings for that class, he was number 2, behind Harry Giles, but ahead of names like Jason Tatum, Lonzo Ball, De'Aaron Fox, Bam, Malik Monk, and Frank Jackson. At Kansas, he averaged over 16 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 assists, earning multiple honors. Drafted 4th in 2017 by Phoenix, his pro career moved across several teams, never matching that high school dominance. TJ Leaf at Foothills Christian in El Cajon, he piled up 3,022 points and 1,476 rebounds, ranking 2nd all-time in the San Diego section. As a senior, he averaged 28.4 points, 12.4 rebounds, 5.3 assists, and over 3 steals, while shooting 68%. He had monster performances like 36 points with 11 boards, 6 assists, and 6 blocks in the section final, plus a 44-point game against Lonzo Ball's Chino Hills squad. A McDonald's All-American, he also earned USA Today Second Team All-America honors and multiple Player of the Year awards. ESPN ranked him 13th nationally in the class of 2016, right ahead of Wenyen Gabriel. At UCLA, he played 1 season, averaging over 16 points and 8 rebounds, while leading the conference in field goal percentage and finishing 2nd in 3.000 percentage. Drafted 18th in 2017 by Indiana, he averaged 3.3 points over 146 NBA games before moving overseas. In China's CBA, he put up over 20 points and 12 rebounds. And in 2025, he signed with Maccabi Tel Aviv. By the way, if you guys want to subscribe, I'm going to be posting every day. Thanks. Anyways, Kevin Knox. At Tampa Catholic, his junior year was massive with 30.1 points, 11.2 rebounds, and over 2 assists a game, leading the squad to regional and district titles and a state semifinal run. As a senior, he put up 28.5 points and 11.3 rebounds, winning Florida Mr. Basketball while making the McDonald's All-American and Jordan Brand Classic rosters. On the EYBL circuit, he averaged 19.6 points and 7.6 rebounds, ranked 7th nationally. In the 2017 ESPN 100, he was listed as the second best small forward behind Michael Porter Jr., with players like P.J. Washington, Nick Richards, Jared Vanderbilt, and Shea behind him. At Kentucky, he averaged about 15.9 points, earned first-team All-SEC and SEC Freshman of the Year honors, and helped win the SEC tournament. Drafted 9th overall in 2018 by New York, he scored 12.8 a night as a rookie, but saw reduced roles afterward. Strong G League play led to a 2025 deal with Golden State, where he contributed off the bench and showed persistence through his career ups and downs. Stanley Johnson. At Mater Dei High in Santa Ana, he helped win 4 straight CIF Division I state titles from freshman through senior year. As a senior, he averaged 25 points, 8 rebounds, 3.6 assists, and 2.5 steals, while leading the team to a perfect 35-0 record and a Max Preps national championship. The year before, he posted 19.4 points and nearly 9 rebounds as the squad went 34-2. As a sophomore, he scored over 13 a game and grabbed 7.5 boards, while Mater Dei repeated as state champs. His career total of 2,285 points ranks 3rd in school history. In the 2014 ESPN 100, he was 7th overall and the top-ranked small forward, ahead of Justin Jackson and Karl Anthony Towns. At Arizona, he averaged 13.8 points and 6.5 rebounds, earning first-team All-Pac-12, Freshman of the Year, and the Julius Erving Award. Drafted 8th in 2015 by Detroit, he played for multiple NBA teams before moving overseas, now suiting up for Nagasaki Velka in Japan's B-League. Sam Decker. At Sheboygan Lutheran, his senior season brought Wisconsin Gatorade Player of the Year, Parade First Team All-American, and Wisconsin Mr. Basketball honors. He led the school to its first WIAA state title, scoring 40 in the championship, including the last 12 points and the game-winning 3 with 2 seconds left. In the 2012 ESPN 100, he was ranked 17th overall, ahead of future NBA players Glenn Robinson III, Daniel House, and Rodney Hood. At Wisconsin, he played 3 seasons, averaging 12.1 points and 5 rebounds across 113 games. As a junior, he was named to the All-Big Ten second team and was West Regional Most Outstanding Player after big NCAA tournament performances, including 27 points in the Elite Eight. Drafted 18th in 2015 by Houston, he played 5 NBA seasons with multiple teams, averaging 5.5 points and 3 rebounds in 201 games. Overseas, he found more success, winning the FIBA Europe Cup in Turkey, earning MVP awards in the British Basketball League with London, and signing with Joventut Badalona in Spain, where he's continued to put up strong numbers. Trevon Duval. He started at St. Benedict's Prep in New Jersey, where as a sophomore, he dropped 25 points and 8 assists in a state final. After a stop at Advanced Preparatory International in Texas, he finished at IMG Academy in Florida, averaging 16.1 points and 7.5 assists, while leading them to a 26-2 record. He was a McDonald's All-American and played in the Jordan Brand Classic. In the 2017 ESPN 100, he ranked 6th overall and first among point guards, ahead of future NBA names like Jaren Jackson, Shea, Trae Young, and Colin Sexton. At Duke, he averaged 10.3 points and 5.6 assists, finishing 3rd all-time among Duke freshmen in assists per game and 4th in total assists. Despite that, he went undrafted in 2018, the first one and done Duke player to do so. He signed a 2-way deal with Milwaukee, split time with the Wisconsin Herd in the G League, and later played overseas, including joining Manisa in Turkey in 2023. Tony Roughton. At Garfield High in Seattle, he averaged over 20 points, 8 rebounds, and nearly 4 assists as a freshman, becoming the first freshman ever named to the All-Washington State Class first team. He followed with 17.6 points and 6.4 rebounds as a sophomore, missed his junior year with an ACL injury from football, then returned to average 25 points, 7.5 rebounds, and 4.1 assists as a senior. He was a 5-star recruit, ranked 14th nationally by Rivals and 16th in the 2011 ESPN 100, ahead of future NBA players like Otto Porter and Quinn Cook. At Washington, he averaged about 16 points, 5 rebounds, and 3.7 assists in one season, earning Pac-12 Freshman of the Year and first-team All-Pac-12 honors. Drafted 25th in 2012 by Memphis, he played 145 NBA games, averaging 11.1 points. With Philadelphia, he posted a triple-double in his first start and had a season at nearly 17 points per game before another ACL injury. His career continued in the G League and overseas with stops in Europe, Africa, and South America. Diamond Stone. At Dominican High in Wisconsin, he led his team to 4 straight WIAA Division IV state titles, finishing his senior year with 24.4 points, 11.7 rebounds, and 3 blocks a game. His career total hit 2,193 points, and he set a state record with 14 blocks in a semifinal, adding 15 points and 15 rebounds for a triple-double. A McDonald's All-American, he scored 14 points on 7 for 9 shooting in that game and earned Wisconsin Associated Press Player of the Year. Ranked 7th nationally in the 2015 ESPN 106th by Rival, he was the second best center in the class and the top player from Wisconsin, ahead of future NBA names like Cheek Diallo, Henry Ellenson, and Dwayne Bacon. At Maryland, he averaged 12.5 points, 5.4 rebounds, and 1.6 blocks as a freshman, earning Big Ten honors and setting the school's freshman scoring record with 39 points. Drafted 40th in 2016, he played just 7 NBA games, then spent time in the G League and overseas, most recently joining Pristina in Kosovo. PJ Hairston, he played at Dudley High in Greensboro before finishing at Hargrave Military Academy, where as a senior, he averaged 25.6 points, 9.2 rebounds, and 4.7 assists. As a junior, he had a 53-point game, and he scored 15 in the 2011 McDonald's All-American game. A 5-star recruit, ESPN ranked him 13th nationally and 3rd among shooting guards in the class of 2011, with the recruiting service's consensus index placing him 11th overall. At North Carolina, he averaged 5.7 points as a freshman, then jumped to 14.6 with better shooting numbers as a sophomore, earning ACC Co-Player of the Week during the season. That summer, he was suspended and ultimately did not return for his junior year. In the D-League with the Texas Legends, he averaged 21.8 points, making history as the first D-League player drafted in the first round when Miami took him 26th in 2014 and traded him to Charlotte. He averaged about 6 points over 111 NBA games with the Hornets and Grizzlies, had a brief G League return, and retired after the 2016-17 season. LeBron Nash. At Lincoln High in Dallas, he was a McDonald's All-American, Texas Mr. Basketball, and a second Team Parade All-American in 2011. Rivals ranked him 6th nationally, Scout had him 8th, and he was among the top small forwards in the ESPN U100, placing him ahead of numerous future NBA players. At Oklahoma State, he became the first in school history to win Big 12 Freshman of the Year, averaging 14.6 points, 5.1 rebounds, and 1.7 assists over 4 seasons. He earned multiple All-Big 12 honors, finished 21st in career points at OSU with 1,307, logged 68 double-figure scoring games, and started 55 straight contests. After going undrafted in 2015, he joined the Fukushima Firebonds in Japan, setting a league record with 54 points in a single game. His career took him to the NBA, G League, South Korea, Israel, Mexico, Uruguay, Indonesia, and the Philippines, though height rules kept him from playing there. He's been a prolific scorer overseas, but his peak spotlight came during those high school years when he was one of the most hyped recruits in the country. James Michael McAdoo. At Norfolk Christian in Virginia, he averaged 22.5 points and 9.9 rebounds as a junior, then 21.6 and 8.1 as a senior, winning back-to-back state titles and Virginia Gatorade Player of the Year both seasons. He was a USA Today First Team All-American, a Parade Third Team All-American, and co-MVP of both the 2011 McDonald's All-American Game and the Jordan Brand Classic. Ranked 6th nationally in the 2011 ESPN 100, he was a 5-star recruit and rated above future NBA star Bradley Beal. At North Carolina, he scored 1,232 points in 108 games over 3 seasons, averaging as many as 14.4 in his sophomore year and earning all ACC honors in his junior season before declaring for the draft. Undrafted in 2014, he joined Golden State, splitting time with their D-League affiliate and winning both NBA and D-League titles in 2015, then another NBA title in 2017. He played 111 NBA games before continuing his career in Italy, Turkey, Serbia, and Japan. Lenny Cook. He didn't even start playing organized basketball until 16, but at LaSalle Academy in Manhattan, he was already putting up 20 points and 11 rebounds a game. In the summer of 2000, he took underclassmen MVP at the Adidas A-BCD camp, one of the top showcases for high school talent. By 2001, ESPN ranked him second among all seniors, behind Carmelo Anthony and ahead of Stat, Raymond Felton, and Chris Bosh. That summer, some scouts even had him ahead of both Carmelo and LeBron James. His senior season was cut to just 8 games because of eligibility issues, but he still averaged 31.5 points and 15 rebounds. Prep Star's Recruiter's Handbook had him 4th in the nation. Despite the hype, he declared for the 2002 NBA draft and went undrafted, never appearing in an NBA game. His story became the subject of the documentary Lenny Cook, which premiered at the Tribeca Film Festival in 2013. It contrasted his peak as a top-ranked prospect with the reality of what followed, making him one of basketball's most discussed what could have been stories. Shia Cotton. By 6th grade, he was 6 feet tall, 180 pounds, and dunking with ease, drawing national attention before he even entered high school. At Mater Day, his sophomore year was legendary. 24 points and 10 rebounds a game, a 36-1 record, a state title, and the distinction of being the only sophomore ever named Cal High Sports Division 1 State Player of the Year. He also earned Parade All-American honors and constant comparisons to LeBron James for his pre-high school hype. His junior season was cut short by a hand injury, and his senior year ended before it began after a shoulder injury in an AAU game against Lamar Odom, originally committed to UCLA. He was ruled ineligible after the NCAA invalidated his SAT score. A prep year and a commitment to NC State also fell apart, leading him to Long Beach City College, where he averaged 25.8 points and 5.8 rebounds. At Alabama, he led the team with 15.5 points and 4.6 rebounds, making second team All-SEC. Undrafted in 2000, he played in the D-League with the Harlem Globetrotters and in pro leagues overseas, but never reached the NBA. Demetrius Walker. At 14, he was 6'3", 175 pounds, and ranked the number 1 8th grader in the country, with media dubbing him the next LeBron. His rise was chronicled in the book Play Their Hearts Out, detailing his early years under AAU coach Joe Keller. At St. Mary's High in Phoenix, he led the team to the Arizona State title, scoring 27 in the championship. Listed at 6'3" and 190, he signed with Arizona State in the 2009 class. As a freshman, he played 23 games, averaging 4 points in just over 10 minutes. After sitting out a transfer year, he joined New Mexico, averaging 7.4 points, 2.8 rebounds, and 1.8 assists in 2011 to 12, then 5 points the next season. For his final season at Grand Canyon, he put up 16.9 points, 5.6 rebounds, and 2.2 assists in 9 games. Across 90 college games, he averaged 6.8 points. Once a youth phenom, he never reached that projected stardom, later moving into coaching and working with junior varsity players. John Petty Jr. At J.O. Johnson High in Huntsville, he made the state title game as a freshman and was first-team class All-State. As a sophomore, he won the championship, was tournament MVP, Player of the Year, and finished 3rd in Alabama Mr. Basketball voting. His junior year brought averages of 19.9 points, 7.1 rebounds, and 4.1 assists on 51% shooting. Another title, another tournament MVP, and both Alabama Mr. Basketball and Gatorade Player of the Year honors. As a senior at Jemison High, he averaged 20.7 points, 7.7 rebounds, and 5.6 assists, won his 3rd straight title, and became just the 3rd player to win Mr. Basketball twice. ESPN ranked him 25th nationally in the 2017 class, and he played in the Jordan Brand Classic. At Alabama, he earned all SEC honors, set school records with 311 career threes made, and finished 16th in career points. Undrafted in 2021, he signed an Exhibit 10 contract with New Orleans and joined the Birmingham squadron in the NBA G League. Ronnie Fields. At Farragut Academy in Chicago from 1992 to 1996, he shared the court with Kevin Garnett for one season and became one of the city's most celebrated prep players. As a senior, he averaged roughly 32 points, 12.2 rebounds, 5.1 assists, 4.5 blocks, and 4 steals per game, winning Illinois Mr. Basketball, First Team Parade All-American USA, Today All-American, and McDonald's All-American honors. He finished with 2,619 career points, third most in Chicago Public League history, and was famed for a 50-inch vertical leap. He was one of the first sophomores invited to Nike's Best of the Best game in 1993, alongside Allen Iverson and Garnett, and was a 3-time Parade All-American. In February 1996, a car accident fractured his neck, ending his high school season weeks before the playoff. Though he signed with DePaul, academic ineligibility kept him out, and he never played in college or the NBA. Drafted in the 7th round of the 1996 CBA draft by Lacrosse, he went on to earn CBA All-Rookie Second Team honors, 3 All-Star selections, 3 All-CBA First Team nods, a scoring title, and 4 steals titles, including back-to-back years, leading the league in both points and steals. His pro career spanned the Philippines, Venezuela, Turkey, Lebanon, the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Greece, and the ABA. Today, Fields runs Ronnie Fields' elite youth programs, works as a trainer, and is the subject of the documentary Bounce Back, the Ronnie Fields story, which captures both his spectacular rise and the resilience he has shown since. Quade Green. He was the floor general every high school coach dreams about. At Neumann, Goretti, and Philadelphia, he led them to 4 straight Pennsylvania Class 3A state titles and piled up 1,853 career points, the second highest in school history. On the 2016 Nike EYBL circuit, he put up over 14 points and more than 10 assists per game, earning all EYBL first team honors and guiding his squad deep into the Peach Jam. By early 2017, his name was everywhere. He was a McDonald's All-American, winning the Legends and Stars shootout. Plus, he landed spots in the Jordan Brand Classic and Nike Hoop Summit. Recruiting sites all had him as a 5-star, with ESPN ranking him 24th overall in the class, right there with big names like Mo Bamba, Colin Sexton, and Wendell Carter Jr. He chose Kentucky, played his freshman season, then transferred to Washington, where he had a bigger role. After going undrafted in 2021, he's played in the G League for teams like the Maine Celtics and Grand Rapids Gold, and overseas in places like Kosovo and Mexico, still working to make his mark in the game. Lewis King. He made his mark in New Jersey, starting at Roselle Catholic, moving to Pope John 23, and finishing at Hudson Catholic. Even with a knee injury cutting his senior year short, he still averaged 15 points and just over 4 rebounds per game. He earned a spot in the 2018 McDonald's All-American game and was invited to the Nike Hoop Summit. Though the injury kept him from playing there, he was a 5-star recruit across all major rankings, with ESPN listing him 11th overall in the class, ahead of plenty of future stars. That same year, he shared the McDonald's stage with names like Zion Williamson and RJ Barrett. He committed to Oregon in September of 2017, playing one season where he averaged 13 points, 5 rebounds, and 1 assist, making the Pac-12 All-Freshman team. After going undrafted in 2019, he signed 2-way deals with teams like the Detroit Pistons and Sacramento Kings, plus G League stints. His career's also taken him overseas to Mexico, Puerto Rico, and China, where he's played for the Fujian Sturgeons, still chasing opportunities on both the national and international stage. Keith Tiny Gallant. At Oak Hill Academy, he was a force, standing around 6 feet 9 inches and close to 300 pounds, dominating the class of 2009. Originally from Houston, he became one of the nation's top centers, earning ESPN Rise All-American honors and a spot in the ESPN 100. Rivals ranked him 9th overall and 2nd at his position. In the 2009 McDonald's All-American game, he led the West with 20 points and 7 rebounds, sharing the court with future NBA names like Derek Favors, DeMarcus Cousins, and Avery Bradley. He committed to Oklahoma and as a freshman averaged just over 10 points, nearly 8 rebounds, and shot 54% from the field, ranking high among Big 12 rebounders. After that season, he declared for the 2010 NBA draft, but controversy hit when all of Oklahoma's wins from that year were vacated due to him receiving impermissible benefits. His early exit didn't translate into a lasting NBA career, and his professional path never matched the hype he built in high school, leaving his story as a reminder of how quickly expectations can outpace reality. Ashton Hagans. At Newton High School in Georgia, his junior year was huge. 20 points, over 10 assists, nearly 8 rebounds, and more than 3 steals per game. That earned him Georgia Mr. Basketball and Gatorade Georgia Player of the Year. In the 2018 ESPN 100, he was ranked 20th overall, ahead of players like Emmett Williams and Jalen Horde, a 5-star point guard. He originally committed to Georgia, then flipped to Kentucky in April of 2018 and reclassified to join that fall. As a freshman, he averaged nearly 8 points, 4 assists, almost 3 rebounds, and over 1.5 steals, winning SEC Co-Defensive Player of the Year. His sophomore season jumped to over 11 points, 6 assists, and almost 2 steals per game. After averaging 9 points, 5 assists, and 3 rebounds across 2 seasons, he entered the 2020 NBA Draft. Undrafted, he signed with Minnesota, played 2 games, then moved through the G League, tying the second highest assist mark in league history with 22. In 2023, he signed with Portland, and in 2024 joined the Xinjiang Flying Tigers in China, producing balanced numbers in scoring, passing, and steals. Brandon McCoy. At Cathedral Catholic High School in San Diego, he became one of the nation's top big men, earning McDonald's All-American honors in 2017 and a spot in the Jordan Brand Classic. That year, ESPN ranked him 15th overall, with the recruiting service Consensus Index placing him at 11th. He chose UNLV for his lone college season, where he averaged nearly 17 points, just over 10 rebounds, and almost 2 blocks per game, while shooting 54% from the field. Those numbers brought him Mountain West Freshman of the Year and all Mountain West second team honors. After going undrafted in the 2018 NBA Draft, he joined the Milwaukee Bucks and New Orleans Pelicans for summer league and preseason stints, then moved to the G League with the Wisconsin Herd, where he averaged around 8 points and 5 rebounds. His career since has spanned the Sioux Falls Skyforce, Tijuana Zonkies, Brampton Honey Badgers, Borneo Hornbills, and in 2025, Soles de Mexicali. On the international stage, he represented the United States at the 2017 FIBA Under-19 World Cup, helping secure a bronze medal while showcasing his size and rebounding ability. Wally Judge. At Arlington Country Day School in Florida, he put up monster senior year numbers, 18 points, over 17 rebounds, and nearly 3 assists per game, while racking up double-doubles in 30 of 32 outings. He helped secure a Florida Class 2A state title, the program's 5th straight, tying a state record. He was picked as both a McDonald's All-American and a Jordan Brand All-American, though a back injury kept him out of the McDonald's game. In the Jordan Brand Classic, he dropped 18 points with 7 rebounds. Ranked 15th overall in the ESPN 100 for the class of 2009 and 18th by Rivals, he was one of the top power forwards nationally, sharing the spotlight with future NBA names like DeMarcus Cousins and Derek Favors. At Kansas State, he averaged just over 3 points as a freshman and 5.5 as a sophomore before transferring to Rutgers. There, he averaged around 7 points and between 5 and 6 rebounds in each of his last 2 seasons. Undrafted in 2014, he played professionally in Italy, Israel, Argentina, and Finland, where his best season brought nearly 11 points and over 9 rebounds per game. Billy Preston. His high school journey ran through St. John Bosco, Redondo Union, Prime Prep Academy, and finally, Oak Hill Academy, where as a senior, he averaged 15 points and just over 9 rebounds per game. He was a 2017 McDonald's All-American, scoring 10 points with 3 rebounds, and also played in the Jordan Brand Classic, adding 7 points in 15 minutes. Ranked 20th in the ESPN 100 and inside the top 20 by most major services, he was praised for a 7-foot 1-inch wingspan, smooth touch, and a versatile scoring game that made him one of the most coveted power forwards in his class. He committed to Kansas over schools like Indiana and Syracuse, but never played a game there due to an NCAA eligibility investigation and a campus car accident. In early 2018, he signed with Igokia in Bosnia, officially turning pro. Since going undrafted that year, his career's taken him through the G League with teams like the Canton Charge and Texas Legends, plus stops in Australia, South Africa, where he won 2 titles with the Cape Town Tigers, and Mexico with the Tijuana Zonkies, continuing a globe-trotting basketball path. Moftau Yaru, born in Nadatingu, Benin, He rose to national attention at Montrose Christian School in Maryland, earning third-team Parade All-American honors in 2009 and a spot on USA Today's second team All-USA. Ranked around 18th in the ESPN 100, he was viewed as one of the top forwards in the class. Choosing Villanova, he became a steady 4-year contributor, averaging nearly 9 points and 7 rebounds over 120 games, with his best season as a junior at over 11 points per game. By the end of his college career, he was one of only 8 Wildcats to record more than 1,000 points, 800 rebounds, and 100 blocks, ranking 11th in career rebounds and 10th in blocks. Undrafted in the 2013 NBA draft, he started professionally in Serbia with Radnički Kragujevac, averaging almost 12 points and over 10 rebounds. He then spent multiple seasons in France, winning the French Cup in 2016 and leading the league in rebounding, with stops at Le Mans, Antibes, Levallois, Boulazac, Nanterre, and Le Portel, building a long, productive career overseas despite not reaching the NBA stage. Emmett Williams, his high school path ran from Lehigh Senior in Florida to IMG Academy, then to Oak Ridge High School in Orlando. At IMG, he averaged 16 points, over 12 rebounds, and nearly 3 blocks per game. As a senior at Oak Ridge, he put up almost 18 points, more than 12 rebounds, and close to 2 blocks, leading them to a Florida Class 9 A-State title. A consensus 5-star recruit in the class of 2018, he was ranked around 21st by ESPN and praised for his motor, athleticism, and a 6'11" wingspan. On the showcase stage, he set the Jordan Brand Classic scoring record with 44 points, earning MVP and was co-MVP of the Ballless Life All-American game with 31 points and 12 rebounds. At LSU, he averaged 7 points and 5 rebounds as a freshman, then jumped to over 13 points, 6 rebounds, and more than a block as a sophomore on strong shooting splits. Undrafted in 2020, he's played in the G League and internationally in Israel, Italy, the Dominican Republic, Venezuela, Nicaragua, and Puerto Rico, where he's with Gigantes de Carolina. Jordan Hamilton, he started at Susan Miller Dorsey High before transferring to Dominguez High in Compton, where as a junior, he averaged over 27 points and 11 rebounds, leading them to a 32-3 record, plus a CIF, Southern Section Division I AA title. A 5-star recruit in the class of 2009, he was ranked the #1 small forward and as high as 6th overall nationally, with ESPN listing him 8th. At Texas, he played 2 seasons, breaking out as a sophomore with nearly 19 points and almost 8 rebounds per game, earning consensus second-team All-American and first-team All-Big 12 honors. Selected 26th overall in the 2011 NBA draft by Dallas and traded to Denver, he spent 5 seasons in the league with the Nuggets, Rockets, Clippers, and Pelicans, averaging about 6 points and nearly 3 rebounds. After the NBA, he played in the G League and overseas in countries like Russia, Israel, Italy, Japan, and Turkey, including a season with Hapoel Holon, where he averaged almost 18 points, showing scoring consistency even if his NBA star potential never fully materialized. Alex Oriaki. At Tilton School in New Hampshire, he was a McDonald's All-American, a second-team Parade All-American, and Gatorade Player of the Year for the state. A 5-star recruit, rivals ranked him the #3 center and 21st overall in the 2009 class, with the Recruiting Service Consensus Index putting him at 16th. At UConn, he earned Big East All-Rookie honors as a freshman, then posted nearly 10 points, almost 9 rebounds, and over 1.5 blocks as a sophomore, helping the Huskies win both the Big East and the NCAA championship in 2011. His numbers dipped as a junior with the arrival of Drummond, and he transferred to Missouri, averaging over 11 points, 8 rebounds, and 1.5 blocks, while shooting nearly 64% from the field. Drafted 57th overall in 2013 by Phoenix, he played briefly in France and Israel before excelling in the D-League, making the all-rookie first team. Though he never played in a regular season NBA game, his pro career took him to Lithuania, Italy, Venezuela, Turkey, Mexico, Puerto Rico, Uruguay, and Malta, where he last suited up in 2022. Wilt's historic game. On March 18, 1968, Wilt Chamberlain put together one of the most ridiculous stat lines in basketball history. The Philadelphia 76ers hosted the Los Angeles Lakers, and Wilt decided he was going to do everything that night. 53 points, 32 rebounds, 14 assists, all in 48 minutes without a single second of rest. Let's talk about the efficiency first, because it's genuinely hard to believe. Wilt shot 82.8% from the field. He took 29 shots and made 24 of them. That kind of accuracy on that kind of volume doesn't make sense for anyone, let alone a 7-foot center carrying an entire offense. The 76ers won 158-128, and Wilt was responsible for creating over half of all their offense that night. Not just through scoring either. His 14 assists directly created points too. Add it all up and he touched more than 51% of everything Philadelphia produced. The rebounds tell their own story. The Lakers grabbed 48 total as a team. Wilt alone grabbed 32. He nearly out-rebounded an entire NBA roster by himself. Blocks and steals weren't officially tracked back then, but historical reconstructions estimate 24 blocks and 11 steals. If those count, this was the only 50-plus point quintuple-double in NBA history. Bam's 83. On March 10th, 2026, Bam did something that only one player in NBA history has ever topped. He scored 83 points in a single game, making it the second highest scoring performance ever recorded. Only Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game sits above it. Let that sink in. 83 points from a center. The Miami Heat beat the Washington Wizards 150-129, and Bam accounted for over 55% of everything Miami scored that night. He played 42 minutes and didn't let up once. Now here's where it gets strange. Bam shot 20 for 43 from the field and 7 for 22 from 3. Those aren't elite shooting numbers, but he attempted 43 free throws and made 36 of them. Both of those are NBA records. He was drawing fouls at a rate of nearly 1 per minute the entire game. 36 made free throws alone would outscore what most teams average in a quarter. He also surpassed Kobe Bryant's 81-point game, which had stood as the second highest total since 2006. Bam moved past it with 83, and he did it without overtime. Only 3 players in NBA history have ever scored 80 or more points in a game: Wilt, Kobe, and now Bam. Kobe's 81. If we're going to talk about Bam, we got to talk about Kobe. On January 22nd, 2006, Kobe Bryant walked into a game against the Toronto Raptors and put up the second highest scoring total in NBA, 81 points in 42 minutes. The Lakers were down 18 points at one stage in the third quarter. Then Kobe took over. He scored 26 in the first half, then 55 in the second half alone, 27 in the third quarter, 28 in the fourth. The Raptors had no answer, and the Lakers won 122-104. Here's what makes the efficiency so hard to process. Kobe shot 60.9% from the field, 53.8% from 3, and 90% from the free throw line. His true shooting percentage was 73.9%. The league average that season was around 54%. He wasn't just scoring in volume, he was doing it cleanly. He took 46 of the team's 90 total field goal attempts, which is 51% of all Lakers shots. He scored 81 of their 122 points. That's 66% of everything his team produced. No other Laker scored more than 20 points. Kobe didn't need them to. At the time, he was 27 years old and had just put together the second greatest scoring game in the history of the sport. By the way, if you guys want to subscribe, I'm going to be posting every day. Thanks. Anyways, Luka's 60-point triple-double. On December 27, 2022, Luka put together a stat line that had never existed before in NBA history. 60 points, 21 rebounds, and 10 assists in a single game. Nobody had ever done that, not once. He shot 21 for 31 from the field, which is about 67%. For a 60-point game, that efficiency is almost unreasonable. Most players need 50-plus attempts to get there. Luka did it on 31. The Dallas Mavericks were trailing the New York Knicks late in the fourth quarter. At the end of regulation, Luka already had 53 points, 18 rebounds, and 10 assists. Then overtime happened. He added 7 more points and 3 more rebounds to finish the job. Dallas won 126-121. He also broke the Mavericks franchise scoring record that night. The previous record was 53 points, set by Dirk Nowitzki. Luka passed it and kept going. The rebounds are what make this truly strange. 21 rebounds from a guard. His season average entering that game was around 8 per game. He nearly tripled it. Only 2 players in NBA history have recorded a 60-point triple-double. Luka's version also had 20-plus rebounds, which makes it completely one of a kind. David Robinson's 71. On April 24th, 1994, David Robinson scored 71 points in the final game of the regular season, not because he was on a hot streak, because he had to. Robinson entered that day trailing Shaq in the scoring title race. The only way to win it was to go completely off, so the San Antonio Spurs built their entire offense around him against the Los Angeles Clippers, and he delivered. He shot 26 for 41 from the field, 63.4%. He added 18 made free throws and finished with 71 points in 44 minutes. His true shooting percentage was 68.3, which was 15 points above the league average that season. Not a single other Spur scored in double figures. Robinson took 45% of all team shots and scored 63% of all team points. The offense wasn't a system that night. It was just Robinson. He scored 28 points in the fourth quarter alone and put up 7 points in the final minute to lock the title in. When the season was over, Robinson finished at 29.8 points per game. Shaq finished at 29.3. Robinson won the scoring title by half a point. He needed 71 points to pull it off. He got exactly that. Donovan Mitchell's 71. On January 2nd, 2023, Donovan Mitchell scored 71 points for the Cleveland Cavaliers against the Chicago Bulls. It was the highest scoring game anyone had put up since Kobe's 81 back in 2006. He also had 11 assists. That combination has never happened before in a 70-plus point game. Not once in NBA history. Every other player who reached 70 points was locked in on scoring. Mitchell was running the offense at the same time. He shot 22 for 34 from the field and made 20 of his 25 free throw attempts, 64% shooting, 71 points on only 34 field goal attempts. That's an absurd rate. Through regulation, he had 55 points. The Cavaliers were trailing late and needed a push just to survive. They got to overtime, and Mitchell added 16 more points in the extra period, playing all 50 minutes of the game. His 11 assists meant he directly created at least another 22 points beyond his own scoring. Added together, and he was involved in over 93 points for a team that scored 145. Mitchell also broke the Cavaliers' franchise scoring record that night. The previous record was 57 points, set by LeBron James. 71 points and 11 assists. Nobody in NBA history had ever done anything close to that. Scott Skiles, 30 assists. On December 30th, 1990, Scott Skiles handed out 30 assists in a single game. That number is the NBA record, and it still hasn't been touched. 30 in one game. The Orlando Magic beat the Denver Nuggets 155-116, and Skiles was the engine behind all of it. He played 44 minutes, scored 22 points, and assisted on more than half of every made basket his team had. By halftime, he already had 14 assists. He added 10 more in the third quarter and 6 in the fourth. He didn't slow down once. The part that makes it even more remarkable, 8 teammates finished in double figures. There wasn't one dominant scorer he kept feeding. He was finding different players all night long, spreading the ball across an entire roster and still piling up 30 assists. He also had 4 turnovers the entire game. That's a 7.5 to 1 assist to turnover ratio at 30 assists. That's not just a record performance, that's an incredibly controlled one. It also could have been higher. 8 additional passes that would have been assists hit teammates' hands and didn't go in. If those fall, the number reaches 38. No player has come close to 30 assists since. The record's been standing for over 3 decades, and nobody's seriously threatened it. Nikola Jokic's 30-20-20. On March 7, 2025, Nikola Jokic did something that had never happened in over 75 years of NBA basketball. He finished the game with 31 points, 21 rebounds, and 22 assists. Nobody had ever reached 30, 20, and 20 in the same game. Not once. The Denver Nuggets beat the Phoenix Suns 149-141 in overtime, and Jokic was involved in basically everything. He was directly responsible for at least 75 points between his scoring and his assists. The Nuggets scored 149 total. Assists are what separate this from every other historic stat line. 22 assists is the most ever recorded by a center in NBA history. Elite point guards don't always reach 22 assists. Jokic did it as a 7-foot center, while also grabbing 21 rebounds. He was involved in 35 of the team's 57 made field goals. That's over 60% of every basket Denver scored. In overtime alone, he either scored or assisted on 7 of 8 Nuggets field goals. The entire game ran through him. His shot efficiency was just as clean. 13 for 22 from the field, nearly 60%, while carrying that kind of playmaking load. The 30-20-20 combination had never existed before this game. Wilt Chamberlain and Russell Westbrook had reached 20 and 20 and 20. Jokic pushed the scoring category to 30 and made it his own. Hakeem's quadruple double. On March 29, 1990, Hakeem finished the game with 18 points, 16 rebounds, 10 assists, and 11 blocks. That's double digits in 4 categories. That's a quadruple double, and it's one of only 4 ever recorded in NBA history. The Houston Rockets faced the Milwaukee Bucks, and Hakeem controlled every part of the game without ever dominating the box score in an obvious way. He only took 14 shots. This wasn't a scoring performance. It was something much harder to pull off. 11 blocks means at least 11 possessions where the opponent's shot attempt was completely erased. That's before counting altered shots or forced passes that never made it to the rim. The defensive impact goes well beyond what the number shows. 10 assists from a center is already unusual on its own. Combined with 11 blocks in the same game, it's a skill combination that almost doesn't make sense for one position. He also grabbed 6 offensive rebounds, which directly extended possessions for his team. Add it all together, and Hakeem directly influenced over 27 possessions in a single game across both ends of the floor. His field goal percentage was 42.9%, so the scoring wasn't efficient. But that's almost the point. The value wasn't in his scoring at all. Only 3 other players in NBA history have ever recorded a quadruple double. Hakeem's version included 11 blocks and 10 assists, which makes it arguably the most complete two-way stat line ever put together. Wilt's 100 point. On March 2nd, 1962, Wilt Chamberlain scored 100 points in a single NBA game. That record has stood for over 60 years, and nobody's come within 19 points of it. The Philadelphia Warriors beat the New York Knicks 169 to 147, and Wilt scored 100 of those points himself. That's 59% of everything his team produced. He had 41 points by halftime and 69 through 3 quarters. Then he kept going. He finished with 36 made field goals on 63 attempts and 28 made free throws on 32 attempts, 95 total scoring attempts in 48 minutes, and he played every single one of those minutes. There was no three-point line in 1962. Every single point came from inside the arc or from the free throw line. The number would be even higher in the modern game. Here's something that stands out. Wilt shot 87.5% from the free throw line that night. His career average was around 51%. That gap is almost as remarkable as the 100 points itself. The game wasn't televised. No full video footage exists. The only surviving audio is from a fourth quarter radio broadcast, one of the greatest individual performances in sports history, and there's almost no record of it beyond the box score and a photo taken afterward. The next closest scoring game in NBA history is 83. The gap between first and second place is enormous, and it isn't closing. Klay Thompson's 14 threes. On October 29, 2018, Klay Thompson made 14 three-pointers in a single game against the Chicago Bulls. That's the NBA record, and it broke the previous one, which was held by Steph Curry at 13. He finished with 52 points in 27 minutes. 27 minutes. He didn't even play the fourth quarter. His shot breakdown tells the whole story. He attempted 29 total shots, and 24 of them were from 3. That's 83% of all his attempts coming from beyond the arc. He made 14 of those 24 and shot 58.3% from 3 on the night. His true shooting percentage was 87%. For a 50-plus point game, that efficiency is almost unreasonable. By halftime, he already had 36 points and 10 made threes. The record was already within reach before the second half even started. He broke it with his 14th three midway through the third quarter and came out of the game shortly after. He had 0 assists. Every single point came from him finishing as a shooter, not creating offense. He didn't need to create anything. The Warriors just kept finding him, and he kept making everything. The Golden State Warriors scored 149 points as a team. Klay had 52 of them in under 3 quarters of basketball, 14 three-pointers, 52 points, 27 minutes. The record's still his. Damian Lillard's 71. On February 26, 2023, Damian Lillard scored 71 points against the Houston Rockets in 39 minutes. That's the most points ever scored in under 40 minutes in NBA history. He didn't need overtime. He didn't need extra possessions. He just needed 39 minutes. Lillard made 13 three-pointers that night, which is the most ever made in a 70-point game and tied for second most in any game in NBA history, one behind Klay Thompson's record of 14. He shot 59.1% from 3 on 22 attempts. He also went 14 for 14 from the free throw line perfect, not a single miss. His field goal percentage was 57.9% overall, 71 points, elite three-point shooting, and perfect free throws. That combination at that volume has never happened before. By halftime, he had 41 points. He reached 50 before the fourth quarter even started. Portland Trail Blazers won 131-114, and Lillard was directly involved in over 63% of everything they scored. His 6 assists created at least 12 additional points on top of his 71. He was also 32 years old that night, making him the oldest player in NBA history to score 70 or more points. No player in NBA history had ever reached 70 points while also making 10 or more threes. Lillard did both in the same game and did it with time to spare. Draymond Green's scoreless triple-double. On February 10th, 2017, Draymond Green recorded a triple-double with 4 points. That's not a typo. 4 points, 12 rebounds, 10 assists, and 10 steals. It's the only triple-double in NBA history where the player didn't reach 10 points. Most players get to 10 points before they get to 10 steals. Steals are one of the hardest stats to accumulate in basketball. Points are supposed to be the easy one. Draymond flipped that completely. 10 steals alone means 10 guaranteed possessions taken directly from the Memphis Grizzlies. Add 5 blocks on top of that, and he erased 15 defensive events in a single game. His plus-minus was plus 26. He also had 10 assists, which created at least 20 additional points for Golden State. The Warriors won 122-107, and Draymond was controlling both ends of the floor while barely touching the ball offensively. He took 6 shots, made 2 of them. Didn't matter at all. Wilt's 55 rebound. On November 24th, 1960, Wilt Chamberlain grabbed 55 rebounds in a single game. That record has never been touched, and it's not close. 55 rebound means he was pulling down a rebound roughly every 50 seconds for the entire 48 minutes. In regulation, no overtime. The opponent that night was Bill Russell, who's considered one of the greatest rebounders in NBA history. Russell finished with 19 rebounds. Wilt out-rebounded him by 36. That gap alone would be a great rebounding game for most players. Chamberlain averaged over 27 rebounds per game that season, which is already one of the most absurd season averages ever. 55 is still more than double that. There have been 26 games in NBA history with 40 or more rebounds by a single player. Wilt and Russell account for 24 of them between the two of them. Rajon Rondo's 25 assists. On December 27, 2017, Rajon Rondo handed out 25 assists and scored 2 points. 2. He made 1 field goal the entire game, and that was basically it for his scoring. Nobody in NBA history had ever recorded 25 assists with fewer than 5 points. Not once. He did it in 30 minutes. That's the fastest anyone has ever reached 25 assists in a single game. The previous record required at least 36 minutes. Rondo got there 6 minutes faster and then came out of the game. His 25 assists created 58 points directly. Add his 2, and he was responsible for 60 points in a game. His team won 128-113. That's 47% of everything New Orleans scored coming directly from his passes. He had 3 turnovers against 25 assists. That's an 8.3-to-1 ratio at an elite playmaking volume. 10 of those 25 assists came in the fourth quarter alone. He was also 31 years old that night, making him the oldest player in NBA history to record 25 assists in a game. The last time anyone had reached that number was 1996, when Jason Kidd did it. 21 years between 25 assist games. Rondo ended the drought with 2 points on the scoreboard. Klay Thompson's 37-point quarter. On January 23, 2015, Klay Thompson scored 37 points in a single quarter against the Sacramento Kings. That's the NBA record for points in a quarter, and it still stands. He made every single shot he took. 13 for 13 from the field, 9 for 9 from 3, 2 for 2 from the free throw line, 0 misses across all shot types in 12 minutes of basketball. 9 made 3-pointers in 1 quarter is also an NBA record. The Warriors scored 41 points that quarter total. Klay had 37 of them. That's 90% of everything his team scored in that period coming from one player. He also scored the final 18 consecutive Warriors points of the quarter by himself. His full game total was 52 points. 37 of those came in 1 quarter, meaning he scored more in that single period than most players score in an entire game. The efficiency makes it almost impossible to process. 37 points on 13 attempts. That's nearly 2.9 points per shot. In a full game, players take 20 plus shots and don't always reach 37. He started the game with 10 points on inefficient shooting. Then the third quarter happened and nothing went wrong. Not one shot, not one miss, just 13 attempts and 37 points in 12 minutes. Elmore Smith's 17 blocks. On October 28, 1973, Elmore Smith blocked 17 shots in a single game against the Portland Trail Blazers. That's the NBA record, and it's never been broken. What makes the timing even stranger is that this was the first season the NBA officially tracked blocks. The record was set in the very first weeks of blocks being a real statistic. He also broke his own record to get there. 2 days earlier, Smith had recorded 14 blocks. Then he came back and hit 17. 11 of those 17 came in the first half alone, which is also an NBA record for blocks in a half. He was averaging more than 1 block every 3 minutes for the entire game. 17 blocks means 17 possessions, where the opponent's shot was completely erased at the rim. Portland kept attacking inside anyway. They didn't adjust, and Smith kept rejecting them. He also grabbed 16 rebounds while doing it, directly impacting over 33 possessions between the blocks and boards combined. The closest anyone has come since is 15, reached by both Manute Bol and Shaq. Smith's record sits 2 above that. During that stretch of the season, he recorded 10, 14, 17, and 14 blocks in 4 consecutive games. All double-digit block games back-to-back to back-to-back. 17 in one game is the number that stuck. Nobody's touched it in over 50 years. Russell Westbrook's 20-20-20. On April 2nd, 2019, Russell Westbrook finished the game with 20 points, 20 rebounds, and 21 assists. Only 2 players in NBA history have ever done that. Westbrook and Wilt Chamberlain, that's it, just 2. The Oklahoma City Thunder beat the Los Angeles Lakers 119-103, and Westbrook was responsible for at least 52% of everything his team produced. His 21 assists created a minimum of 42 additional points on top of his own scoring. The rebounds are what make this genuinely hard to process. 20 rebounds from a point guard. Guards typically average somewhere between 4 and 8 per game. Westbrook grabbed 20 in regulation without overtime. That's center-level rebounding from one of the smallest players on the floor. His 21 assists also put him in elite playmaking territory for any position, let alone a guard pulling down 20 boards in the same game. The only other time this stat line existed was Wilt Chamberlain in 1968, over 50 years earlier. Westbrook brought it back in the modern era against a completely different style of basketball. Faster pace, tighter defense, and smaller lineups. He dedicated the performance to rapper Nipsey Hussle, who had passed away the day before. 20 points, 20 rebounds, 21 assists. 2 players in history. That's the entire list. Alvin Robertson's quadruple-double. On February 18th, 1986, Alvin Robertson recorded 20 points, 11 rebounds, 10 assists, and 10 steals. That's a quadruple-double, and it's the only one in NBA history built on steals instead of blocks. Every other quadruple-double ever recorded used blocks as the 4th category. Robertson did it with steals, which makes his the hardest one to replicate. 10 steals in a single game is an absurd number on its own. Steals are one of the most difficult stats to accumulate because they depend entirely on the opponent making mistakes at the right moment. Getting 10 of them in 36 minutes is genuinely rare at any level. Each steal directly ended a Phoenix Suns possession and handed it back to San Antonio. Combined with 11 rebounds, Robertson influenced at least 21 possessions defensively in one game. He also had 10 assists, creating a minimum of 20 additional points on top of his own scoring. He was impacting both ends of the floor at an elite level simultaneously. Robertson was a guard, which makes this even more unusual. Every other quadruple-double in NBA history came from a big man using rim protection to reach the block threshold. Robertson did it with perimeter defense and passing lanes. Only 4 quadruple doubles have ever been recorded in NBA history. Robertson's is the only one a guard has ever produced. Dennis Rodman's 28 rebounds. On December 1st, 1993, Dennis Rodman grabbed 28 rebounds and scored 0 points. Not 2 points, not 4, 0. He went 0 for 5 from the field and didn't attempt a single free throw. The San Antonio Spurs won 92-88, and Rodman accounted for over 50% of his team's total rebounds by himself. 10 of those 28 rebounds were offensive. That means 10 possessions where his team got the ball back after a missed shot directly because of him. He controlled both ends of the glass completely, without ever contributing a single point to the scoreboard. He played 45 minutes. It wasn't garbage time. The game was decided by 4 points. What makes this even stranger is that Rodman owns the top 3 games in NBA history for most rebounds with 0 points scored. That same season, he also had 25 rebounds and 0 points and 24 rebounds and 0 points. He did this multiple times, and the record every time was his own. 28 rebounds and 0 scoring attempts at the free throw line in 45 minutes of a competitive game is a combination that makes no statistical sense by normal basketball standards. Most players can't get 28 rebounds while trying to score. Rodman did it while not trying at all. James Harden's 60-point triple-double. On January 30th, 2018, James Harden became the first player in NBA history to score 60 points in a triple-double. 60 points, 10 rebounds, and 11 assists in one game. Nobody had ever done that before. The Houston Rockets were missing Chris Paul, Trevor Ariza, and Eric Gordon left early. The entire offensive load fell on Harden, and he carried it to 60 points on only 30 field goal attempts. 63% from the field, 17 of 18 from the free throw line, 2 points per shot attempt. That efficiency at that volume in a triple-double is the reason this game had never happened before and hasn't happened since. His 11 assists created a minimum of 22 additional points on top of his scoring. Combined, he was directly responsible for roughly 72 to 76% of everything Houston produced in a game. They won 114 to 107. He scored 18 points in the fourth quarter alone and hit the shots that closed it out when the game was tied late. He also had 4 steals and a block on top of everything else. The previous record for points in a triple-double was 57, set by Russell Westbrook. Harden passed it by 3 and did it while his team had almost no one else to rely on. First 60-point triple-double ever, still the only one. Magic Johnson's Finals Game 6. On May 16th, 1980, Magic Johnson started Game 6 of the NBA Finals at center. He was a rookie point guard. Kareem was injured and couldn't play, so Magic walked to the center jump circle and took it from there. He finished with 42 points, 15 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 steals, and 1 block. 14 for 14 from the free throw line. Not a single miss. The Lakers won the championship on the road in Philadelphia, and Magic was named Finals MVP. He's the only rookie in NBA history to win that award. He scored 42 points on 23 shot attempts while simultaneously handling center responsibilities against players who were actually centers. Darryl Dawkins was on that Philadelphia roster. Magic out-rebounded and outscored nearly everyone on both teams while playing a position that wasn't his. Throughout the game, he shifted between center, forward, and guard, depending on what the Lakers needed. He effectively covered all 5 positions in a championship clinching game as a 19-year-old. His 7 assists created at least 14 additional points on top of his own 42. He led his team in both scoring and rebounding in the same game. Jamal Wilkes scored 37 for the Lakers that night, which would have been the story of the game in almost any other situation. Magic scored 42 from the wrong position and made it look manageable. Rookie, center, road game, championship clincher, 42 points, 1 of 1. Wemby's 5x5. On February 23, 2024, Wemby recorded 27 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists, 5 steals, and 5 blocks in 31 minutes and 55 seconds. That's a 5x5, meaning at least 5 in all 5 major statistical categories, and it's one of the rarest stat lines in the sport. Only 15 players in NBA history have ever done it. Wemby did it as a rookie, making him only the second rookie ever to record a 5x5 since the NBA started tracking steals and blocks in 1973. The previous rookie to do it was Jamal Tinsley in 2001. That's a gap of over 20 years between rookie 5x5s. He was also 20 years and 50 days old, making him the youngest player in NBA history to record one, and he did it in the fewest minutes ever, under 32. 5 steals and 5 blocks in the same game is already an outlier on its own. Guards generate steals, centers generate blocks. Wemby is 7'4" and produced elite numbers in both categories simultaneously. His 8 assists created somewhere between 16 and 24 additional points on top of his own scoring. He directly impacted over 20 possessions in under 32 minutes. The game before this one, he had 19 points, 13 rebounds, 5 steals, 5 blocks, and 4 assists. He missed a back-to-back 5x5 by 1 assist. He lost the game. San Antonio fell 123 to 118. Didn't matter for the history books. Chris Paul's 2020-0. On December 10th, 2016, Chris Paul finished a game with 20 points, 20 assists, and 0 turnovers. No player in NBA history had ever done that before, and it's still the only game with that exact combination. 20 assists without a single turnover. To put that in context, the average elite point guard in a high assist game still gives the ball away 3 to 5 times. Paul handled nearly every offensive possession the Clippers ran, made 20 assists, and didn't lose the ball once. His assist to turnover ratio that night was 20 to 0. That's a perfect ratio at an elite volume. There's no mathematical way to do better than that. His 20 assists created a minimum of 40 points directly. Combined with his own scoring, he was responsible for at least 60 points in a game. His team won 133 to 105. That's roughly 45% of everything Los Angeles produced. The Clippers shot 57% from the field as a team and hit 17 three-pointers. That kind of team efficiency doesn't happen without a point guard making perfect reads on every single possession, which is exactly what Paul did. He shot 8 for 16 himself, 50%, so the scoring was efficient too. Nothing was wasted anywhere in his stat line. 0 turnovers isn't just about not making mistakes. At 20 assists of volume, it means every single decision he made, the entire game, was the right one. 20 points, 20 assists, 0 turnovers, first and only time in NBA history. NBA Centel, it started off as a parody account, but not the kind with over-the-top memes or bad jokes. NBA Centel actually looked real. The font, the tone, the phrasing, it was all copy-pasted straight from legit news accounts. The only giveaway? That tiny letter swap from Central to Centel. Casual fans missed it. A lot of professionals missed it too. The whole thing kicked off in July 2022 when some anonymous genius up in Toronto decided to make an account that walked the line between hilarious and believable. At first, it even posted normal basketball content just to bait the hook. Then came the fake quotes, absurd headlines, and wild claims, dressed up to look like breaking news. And it worked. By early 2025, Centel had racked up over 300,000 followers. Players fell for it. Draymond Green clapped back at a quote that never existed. Kevin Garnett jumped in too. Colin Cowherd read one on air like it was breaking news. At this point, getting Centelled became its own thing. Even Merriam-Webster chimed in. Then, out of nowhere, the account vanished. On February 26, Centel's posts just stopped showing up. Users freaked out. Teams like the Rockets and Heat dropped free Centel posts. Fans filled the timeline with fake eulogies. But 24 hours later, Centel came back. No explanation, just vibes. Posts resumed like nothing had happened. No apology, no message. Just chaos returned to normal. Now it's permanently burned into NBA culture. Not just a fake news account, a social experiment in disguise. Todd McCulloch's foot neuropathy and pinball career. Todd McCulloch had the height, skill, and stats to stick in the league, but his feet had other plans. He played for the Philadelphia 76ers and New Jersey Nets, quietly stacking points, rebounds, and blocks over 4 seasons. Then came the diagnosis. Charcot-Marie-Tooth disease, that's a genetic disorder, affecting the peripheral nerves, especially in the feet. He had pain, numbness, weird sensations like his socks were always bunched up. Doctors told him the nerve damage was too severe to continue. At 28, he called it a career and stepped away in 2004. But his competitive drive didn't shut down. It just shifted from basketball courts to blinking pinball machines. He'd already been playing casually, and after retirement, things got serious. He bought machines, built a collection, and started showing up to tournaments. Not small ones either. He played in IFPE and PAPA events, including the World Championships. He won the Pinball Expo Flip-Out in Chicago in 2011, beating top-ranked players and taking home a few $1,000s. By 2025, he was still active. First-place finishes in weekly Stern Army events, solid placements in regionals like Bainbridge and Northwest Pinball, and even hosting events at his own home. His world ranking moved over time, sometimes in the top 200, sometimes closer to 129. Despite being 7 feet tall, he often plays seated to manage the pain. No height advantage when you're hunched over a pinball machine. His story's rare. One of the only players to go from NBA hardwood to the flashing lights of competitive pinball. The focus, hand-eye coordination, and pressure, turns out those skills translate better than you'd think. Donovan Mitchell, versus Ben Simmons. Rookie debate. During the 2017 to 2018 season, two players stood out. Donovan Mitchell, a first-year guard for the Utah Jazz, had an explosive season right out of the gate. He'd been drafted in 2017 and immediately suited up, becoming one of the top young scorers in the league. Then there was Ben Simmons. He was drafted back in 2016, but missed the entire season with a foot injury. So despite being in the league a year longer, the 2017 to 2018 campaign was his first time actually playing, making him technically eligible as a rookie. That technicality became the center of a huge debate. Simmons confidently said he should win Rookie of the Year. He even claimed no other rookies had impressed him. Jazz fans and others pushed back, saying he'd already had a full year to adapt to the league behind the scenes. Mitchell leaned into it. He showed up before a game in April wearing a hoodie with the dictionary definition of the word rookie on it. The message was crystal clear, and the whole league noticed. The hoodie, reportedly made with help from Adidas, wasn't subtle. Simmons shrugged it off, saying it was all love, but he also threw shade, saying if that was Mitchell's only argument, he liked his chances. The moment became a mini pop culture saga. Even dictionary accounts online joined in. In the end, Simmons won Rookie of the Year. Mitchell still made all-rookie first team. But the hoodie, the quote, and the back and forth, that's what made this one of the strangest Rookie of the Year showdowns in recent memory. By the way, if you guys want to subscribe, I'm going to be posting every day. Thanks. Anyways, Master P's NBA dream. Percy Miller was already a music mogul when he decided basketball wasn't finished with him. Before the fame, he'd played college ball at Houston, then Merritt College, but injuries and school issues pushed him toward music. By the late 1990s, he'd conquered that world and circled back to hoops. In 1998, he joined the Fort Wayne Fury in the CBA as a backup guard. The opportunity came from a tryout request, not hype. Coaches called him, coachable and committed, but not NBA ready. That didn't stop him. In January 1999, he landed a short training camp deal with the Charlotte Hornets. He stayed about 10 days, played limited preseason minutes, scored 7 points, and was released before the regular season. Later that year, he caught on with the Toronto Raptors for camp. In a preseason game, he scored 8 points. Again, he was released before the season tipped off. No official NBA games ever followed, just exhibitions and camps. He kept chasing runs elsewhere. In late 1999, he signed with the San Diego Stingrays in the International Basketball League. The stint didn't last long. In 2004, he played in the ABA with Las Vegas and Long Beach. Even after that, basketball stayed close. In 2008, he dropped 17 points in the NBA All-Star Celebrity Game. Later, he shifted to development, running an AAU program that won multiple national titles and coached future NBA players. In February 2025, he took over basketball operations at the University of New Orleans to guide the program. Wemby's Shaolin Temple Training. In the summer of 2025, Wemby didn't just rest or rehab. He flew to Zhengzhou, China, and checked into a Shaolin temple. Yes, a literal monastery. The stay lasted about 10 days and was confirmed by the NBA's China office. Wemby said the goal was to push his body into unfamiliar territory. Instead of weights or cardio drills, he was out there doing kung fu routines, stretching like a monk and meditating with Buddhist practitioners. Every day was packed with new kinds of motion, deep breathing, and physical stress his body wasn't used to. He even shaved his head and wore the robes. Real monk stuff. Photos surfaced online showing him in the full look, bald, robed, and blending in with the other temple students. Social media ran wild with it. People called him Zen Banyama. The food situation was a challenge. Meals were vegetarian. Zucchini, rice noodles, monk portion. He eventually admitted he had to sneak out for meat to keep his calorie count up. The whole thing came after his season ended early due to a blood clot in his shoulder. So, instead of just hitting the gym, he took a mental and physical detour to rebuild in a way few athletes even consider. It wasn't for show either. Fans at the temple posted pictures. Journalists confirmed the visit. Wemby later told media the experience was hard but valuable. He said it forced him to use muscles in new ways and trained his mind to focus differently. While most players were hitting private trainers or running beach sprints, Wemby was kicking, meditating, and eating rice under temple bells. Because of course he was. Zhang Ziyu's rise, born May 2nd, 2007, in Jinan, Shandong, Zhang Ziyu is already rewriting the record books. Standing 7 feet 3 inches tall, she's one of the tallest female basketball players ever. And it shows. Her parents both played the game, with her mother a former national team center. From a young age, Zhang was surrounded by the sport and developed inside elite programs in China. Her youth dominance hit global headlines at the 2024 FIBA U18 Women's Asia Cup. She averaged 35 points, nearly 13 rebounds, and was named tournament MVP. She torched Japan for 44 points, added 42 in the final, and left the event as the top scorer and rebounder. It wasn't a fluke. She had already dropped 68 points in a provincial championship before that. In July 2025, she debuted for the senior national team at the Women's Asia Cup. Her first game, 13 points in 12 minutes. She averaged over 15 points for the tournament and put up 18 in the third-place game against South Korea. Just a few months later, she signed with Shandong Six Stars and debuted in the WCBA, scoring 15 in limited minutes. Zhang's length gives her an automatic edge near the rim, but it's the efficiency and touch that set her apart. In youth play, she converted at a high clip, blocked shots, controlled the glass. She even played in the WCBA All-Star game before her official league debut. With eligibility for the WNBA draft in 2027, scouts are already watching. Zhang isn't just tall, she's productive, polished, and rising fast. Her journey from youth prodigy to professional force is happening in real time. Charles Barkley's absence from NBA 2K. Charles Barkley isn't missing from NBA 2K by accident. He's made it clear for years that he doesn't want to be included unless some serious changes happen. The reason? He believes the game's profits should benefit retired players who helped build the league but didn't make the money stars do today. He's been vocal since at least 2016. His stance hasn't changed. Barkley says NBA 2K pulls in hundreds of millions each year, yet very little of that goes to the older guys who didn't earn big contracts. He's asked the company to contribute about $1 million annually, not to him, but to help retired players through the National Basketball Retired Players Association. He said plainly, if 2K makes that donation, they can use his name, likeness, stats, all of it. Until then, he's out. That's why you won't see him on the all-time Suns or Sixers. He's not alone either. Reggie Miller and others have also held out due to similar compensation disagreements. NBA 2K does have active players through deals with the Players Association. Retired players, though, need separate agreements. In Barkley's case, the publisher hasn't agreed to his terms, so it's not a legal issue, it's a personal one, based on principle. Other legends took the deal. Barkley didn't. He's not asking for cash. He's asking for fairness. He thinks the game's legacy content should give back to the very people who made the league what it is. That's why after all these years, one of the biggest stars in NBA history still isn't in. Phil Jackson nearly brought Pippen to the Lakers. When Phil Jackson took over the Lakers in 1999, one of his first major ideas was reuniting with Scottie Pippen. The two had just dominated the decade in Chicago, and Jackson saw Pippen as a perfect third piece, alongside Shaq and Kobe Bryant. But the move didn't happen, and the reason was money. Pippen was under contract with the Houston Rockets, locked into a 5-year deal worth about $67 million. That meant a salary of over $11 million per season. Lakers owner Jerry Buss shut the idea down fast. Buss made it clear that bringing in Pippen under that contract would strangle the team's ability to make future moves. With major cap hits already tied to Shaq and Kobe, adding another long-term, expensive deal would leave no flexibility. He publicly said that signing Pippen would make it impossible to ever improve this team. There were rumors that trade talks got started. Some suggested names like Glenn Rice or Robert Horry were floated as part of a potential deal, but those talks never went anywhere. The Rockets weren't eager to trade, and the Lakers weren't willing to absorb that contract, so the plan died. Pippen never came to LA. He ended up with Portland later that same year. Meanwhile, the Lakers kept their core intact. Jackson worked with what he had, and it worked. They won 3 straight titles from 2000 through 2002. Looking back, the story shows how close LA came to having a Jordan-era reunion team. But Cap Math won. Buss chose long-term flexibility over nostalgia, and the Lakers got a dynasty without adding one of the greatest wings of all time. Shaq buys 3 Rolls Royces. This one's simple. Shaq got insulted, and he responded with a 7-figure shopping spree. According to Shaq himself, it all started when he walked into a Rolls Royce dealership, just looking around. He asked a few questions about the cars, and one of the salesmen looked him up and down and asked the magic words, "Can you afford these?" Shaq didn't argue. He didn't explain. He pointed to 3 different Rolls Royces and said, that one, and that one. He paid for all 3 on the spot. The total? About $1.3 million. Just like that. 3 luxury cars. 1 very fast flex. He told the story on the Drink Champs podcast, laughing about it but also making it clear. It wasn't really about cars, it was about pride. He wanted to prove a point, and the fastest way to do that was to spend like only Shaq can. What's even better, he barely drives them. By his own admission, those Rolls Royces mostly sit untouched. The moment wasn't about cruising around in style, it was about shutting someone down with his wallet. This fits right into the pattern. Shaq's shared other stories about wild spending, especially earlier in his career. Multi-$1,000 shopping trips, big purchases without a second thought. It's part of the legend. The internet had its fun with the story, of course. Some called it iconic, others called it ridiculous. But for Shaq, it wasn't about practicality. It was about being underestimated for 5 seconds and turning that into $1 million message. The NBA's first game and the tall fan promotion. On November 1st, 1946, the Basketball Association of America held its very first game, the league that would later become the NBA. It happened at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto, and the matchup was between the Toronto Huskies and the New York Knickerbockers. But the game itself wasn't the only thing grabbing attention. To pull fans into the building, the Huskies ran a very specific and hilarious promotion. If you were taller than their tallest player, George Nostrand, you got in free. Nostrand stood 6 feet, 8 inches, which at the time was enormous. The rule was simple. Taller than Nostrand, no ticket required. It was promoted in newspapers across Toronto the day before the game. Nostrand played forward and center for the Huskies, and that night he scored 16 points, but no reports ever confirmed that anyone actually met the height requirement for free admission. So, the gimmick did its job in marketing, not in giveaways. Regular tickets ranged from 75 cents to $2.50. Still, the promotion drew a crowd of over 7,000 fans, a strong turnout for a league nobody really knew yet. The Knicks ended up winning the game 68-66. Ossie Schekman scored the league's first basket, and Toronto's Ed Sadowski led all scorers with 18. The Huskies didn't survive beyond that season, but the promotion did. It lives on as one of the weirdest early attempts to make pro basketball exciting to the public. And in a league that now features global stars, that first quirky night with a height-based ticket offer still stands tall in NBA lore. Michael Beasley's draft party standoff with LeBron. In 2008, Michael Beasley had just been drafted 2nd overall by the Miami Heat. He was 19, fresh off a dominant season at Kansas State, and throwing a party to celebrate his arrival in the league. That's when LeBron James walked in. At that point, LeBron had already played 5 seasons, was a perennial all-star, and one of the most famous athletes on the planet. Beasley, meanwhile, was still riding that confident rookie energy. So when LeBron approached him at the party and leaned in with one question, "Are you ready?" Most people might have nodded, said yes, maybe kept it humble. Beasley didn't. He looked right at him and fired back with the same exact words. "Are you ready?" No explanation, no smile, just that. According to Beasley, LeBron looked him up and down and walked away without another word. That tiny moments become a classic NBA story, not because anything wild happened, but because it showed how Beasley came into the league with no fear. He wasn't about to flinch, not even when LeBron was checking his pulse. Years later, the story still gets shared on social media. It's short, funny, and memorable. 2 guys, 2 identical questions, and a walk-off. Beasley never backed down, even before playing a single NBA game. It's one of those weird human stories that fans love. A rookie trying to match energy with the king of the league. And even though the moment lasted seconds, it's still one of the most talked about introductions from that draft class. Michael Jordan's last playoff loss. After retiring in October 1993, Michael Jordan stepped away from basketball and joined the Chicago White Sox organization to play minor league baseball. He spent the 1994 season with the Birmingham Barons, hitting around .202 with 51 RBIs. But in March 1995, Jordan stunned the sports world by returning to the NBA with iconic words, "I'm back." He rejoined the Chicago Bulls late in the 1994-95 season and played in just 17 regular season games. Despite the short runway, the Bulls went 13-4 with Jordan in the lineup, closing strong into the playoffs. In the postseason, Chicago entered as the 5th seed in the East and advanced to face the top-seeded Orlando Magic in the Eastern Conference semifinals. The Magic were led by Shaq and a young Penny Hardaway, and the Bulls, still adjusting to Jordan's return, had to navigate a tough matchup. The series stretched 6 games. Orlando took it 4-2, ending with a 108-102 win on May 18th, 1995. That series marked the last time Jordan ever lost a playoff series with the Bulls. Jordan still delivered in the stat sheet, averaging 31 points, 6.5 rebounds, and nearly 4 assists per game during the series. But it wasn't enough. Team around him wasn't yet in championship form, and Orlando capitalized. The very next season, the Bulls came back with a vengeance. They swept the Magic in the conference finals and won the title. But that spring, in 1995, that was the final playoff series anyone ever beat Michael Jordan in, Stephen Jackson's wild road to the NBA. Stephen Jackson didn't get drafted because of a college highlight reel or NCAA tournament run. He didn't even play a minute of college ball. He was supposed to suit up for Arizona after a dominant high school career and a spot in the 1996 McDonald's All-American game. But his SAT and ACT scores weren't high enough to qualify, and the NCAA ruled him ineligible. He enrolled at Butler County Community College in Kansas. That lasted 1 semester, and he never played there either. No college tape, no tournament exposure, just raw talent and a reputation that hadn't faded. In 1997, Virginia Bibby, Mike Bibby's mom, and a family friend brought Jackson to the Phoenix Suns facility. He wasn't invited by the front office. He was just there. But once he hit the court in pickup games, he made it count. Going right at Cedric Ceballos, a veteran forward at the time, Jackson made enough noise to grab the attention of everyone watching. Danny Ainge, then running the Suns, saw it. And when the 1997 draft came around, Phoenix used the 42nd pick on Jackson. No college resume, just a few intense pickup sessions. It didn't stick right away. He was cut before the season even started. From there, Jackson went through the CBA, overseas leagues, and a long road back to the NBA. But the path? Completely unorthodox. A draft pick earned on raw attitude, fearless play, and a couple days in a gym. No scholarship games, no coach endorsements. Just a guy hooping his way into the league by refusing to be ignored. Lauri's military service. In Finland, every male citizen must serve in the military before turning 30. No exceptions, not even for NBA All-Stars. So when Utah Jazz forward Lauri finished his NBA season in 2023, he packed up and reported for duty on April 17th. He trained at the Finnish Defense Forces Sports School, based at the Santa Hamina Garrison in Helsinki. It's a military installation on a coastal island, and it's where elite athletes can fulfill service requirements while continuing some level of training. Lauri, like every other conscript, got the standard military haircut and went through basic exercises. His daily life was far from glamorous. He learned how to build fires, pitch tents, and survive outdoors. He received weapons training and slept in field conditions. Despite growing up in Finland, he admitted that waking up freezing in a tent was still a rude surprise. Throughout the experience, Lauri worked alongside other conscripts, many younger than him, some fellow. Athletes, completing physical drills and team-based exercises meant to teach discipline, resilience, and cohesion. He finished his service on September 29th, just in time for NBA training camp. Lauri described the experience as mentally and physically challenged, calling it something that pushed him far outside his comfort zone. He said it helped him grow as a leader, not in a locker room, but in real-world situations where teamwork actually meant survival. Despite his fame, he didn't receive any special treatment. He showed up, did the work, and completed his service like everyone else. For Finland, it was a proud example, a national star respecting civic duty. For Lauri, it was another test of toughness, and one he passed. Seattle King. The Maloof family had run the Sacramento Kings straight into a financial ditch, and by the time 2013 rolled around, they were desperately looking for a way out. So they cut a massive deal, over $525 million, to sell the team to a Seattle-based group led by Chris Hansen, backed by none other than Steve Ballmer. The plan? Move the Kings to Seattle and bring back the Supersonics. It sounded clean and final, and on February 6th, relocation paperwork was filed with the league. But Sacramento wasn't going down easy. The city pulled out every stop, with then-Mayor Kevin Johnson leading a local ownership push and pitching a flashy new downtown arena. Things got tense. Then, on April 29th, the NBA's relocation committee slammed the brakes. They voted 7-0 against the move. That sent a clear signal. The league wasn't having it. The death blow came on May 15th, when the NBA Board of Governors held the official vote, 22-8. Deal dead. That was it. Sacramento got to keep its team. The Maloofs sold the Kings to a new local group led by Vivek Ranadive, and soon after, plans for what would become the Golden One Center kicked off. Seattle had the money, the market, and a motivated ownership group, but none of it mattered. The league's decision made it crystal clear. Franchise movement isn't just about cash or fan bases. It's about approval from the top. And this time, the door stayed shut. oldest rookie ever. Pablo Prigioni went undrafted in 1999, and that should have been the end of the NBA dream. Instead, it was just the beginning of one of the strangest roads to the league ever taken. He started in Argentina, bouncing between teams like Ramallo and Obras Sanitarias, before heading to Spain in 1999 to join Fuenlabrada. Over the next 12 years, he became a staple in European basketball. At Lucentum Alicante, Baskonia, and Real Madrid, he racked up league titles, domestic cups, and a reputation as one of Europe's smartest point guard. Not flashy, but ridiculously efficient. When the New York Knicks signed him in July of 2012, it barely made a blip. Then, on November 2nd, he hit the court at 35 years and 169 days old, the oldest rookie in modern NBA history. That season, he wasn't just some novelty. He started games, ran the offense, and helped the Knicks reach the second round, their deepest playoff run in over 10 years. He wasn't there to dunk or break ankle. He just ran the game like a coach in sneakers. After 3 years with New York, he landed in Houston for a stretch, then moved to the Clippers in 2015. Nothing wild, but still sharp, always thinking 2 steps ahead. Across 4 seasons and nearly 270 games, he averaged about 3.5 points, nearly 2 rebounds, and almost 3 assists per game. Then he made the move to coaching, joining the Timberwolves staff and bringing decades of experience with him. From undrafted to historic rookie to respected coach, Prigioni's path might be one of the NBA's most underrated journeys. Knicks point guard, carousel. From 2009 through 2021, the New York Knicks somehow started a different point guard on opening night every single season. That's 13 straight years of musical chairs at one position. It started with Chris Duhon in 2009, then came Raymond Felton in 2010, followed by Tony Douglas, and then Felton again in 2012. That made him the only player to double dip in that era. After that, it was Pablo Prigioni, then Shane Larkin. Jose Calderon got the nod in 2015, Jerry Grant in 2016, and then things got even messier. There were years with guys like Ramon Sessions, then Trey Burke. Alonzo Trier started in 2019, then Elfrid Payton in 2020, and finally, Kemba Walker in 2021. This revolving door of opening night starters wasn't just a weird coincidence. It showed just how unstable the Knicks were at point guard for over a decade. 13 seasons, 13 different names. Then came Jalen Brunson. When he started in 2022, it was business as usual, a new name. But when he started again in 2023, it snapped the streak. For the first time since 2009, the Knicks had a point guard start back-to-back season openers. Brunson didn't just break the streak, he brought stability. He became the face of the offense and a real foundational piece. After over a decade of inconsistency, the Knicks finally found someone they could stick with. That bizarre 13-year run, officially over. Rockets, Butler offer. Back in October of 2018, the Houston Rockets made a wild swing to land Jimmy Butler. He'd already asked out of Minnesota, and the Rockets were trying to wedge him right between James Harden and Chris Paul. Their pitch? 4 future first-round draft picks. All of them. The maximum number allowed under league rules. The deal also likely included salary pieces like Brandon Knight and Marquise Chris, just to make the math work, but the heart of it was the picks. It was a rare kind of desperation, betting everything on a star who could walk in free agency that summer. Under NBA rules, you can't send out first-rounders in back-to-back years, and they all have to fall within a 7-year window. That means the picks would have been spaced out, probably every other year, to comply with the Stepien rule. But Minnesota didn't go for it. They wanted actual players, not a distant pile of maybes. Instead of sending Butler to Houston, they dealt him to the Sixers for Robert Covington, Dario Saric, Jerry Bayless, and a second-round pick in 2022. At the time, people thought 4 picks was jaw-dropping. Since then, trades for guys like Kevin Durant and Rudy Gobert have redefined the price tag. But in 2018, Houston's offer stood out as one of the most aggressive of the era. If Minnesota had taken it, the entire Western Conference could have shifted. Instead, the Rockets stayed the course, and Butler took his drama to the East, one of those what-could-have-beens that never gets less interesting. Spurs, win record. Among all NBA players who've suited up for at least 1,000 games, only 3 finished with win percentages over 70%, and every single one of them played for the San Antonio Spurs. Manu led the pack at roughly 72.1%. Tim Duncan followed close behind at about 71.9%, and Tony Parker rounded it out near 71.1%. No one else with that kind of career longevity has matched those numbers. That stat's not just impressive, It's ridiculous. Sustaining that kind of win rate for over 1,000 games, that takes more than talent. It takes a whole franchise built to win year after year, and that's exactly what the Spurs gave them. From the late 90s through the early 2010s, San Antonio was the model of stability. That trio helped grab 4 championships together in 2003, 2005, 2007, and 2014. The system stayed consistent. The roster had continuity, and Greg Popovich was at the center of it all. Pop coached all 3 for basically their entire careers. Under him, the Spurs pulled off 22 straight winning seasons and were always in the playoff mix. That machine-like consistency propped up their stats. They rarely had to survive losing seasons or rebuilds. In today's NBA, with constant roster changes and wild parity, keeping a win rate above 70% across more than 1,000 games feels impossible. The fact that 3 players did it, and they were all Spurs, says everything about the dynasty's design. It wasn't just good players. It was a complete blueprint for winning, and those 3 executed it better than anyone. Center 6th, men, for 34 straight years. No, center won the NBA 6th Man of the Year award. The drought started after Bill Walton grabbed it in 1986 and didn't end until Montrezl Harrell claimed it in 2020. That's it, just those 2. In league history, they're the only traditional big men to ever win the award. Walton's win came as he backed up Robert Parrish for the Boston Celtics. He didn't need big minutes to make a difference. He brought passing, defense, rebounding, and just flat-out smarts. He was the perfect glue guy on one of the greatest teams ever. Then came a 34-year stretch where 6th man went to just about anyone except centers. Guards and wings took over, mostly guys who came off the bench to get buckets. Pure scoring flash. Big men, they got screens and rebounds, not trophies. Harrell finally broke that trend with the Clippers. He played as a forward-center hybrid, but in function, he was their main interior presence off the bench. He put up nearly 19 points and over 7 rebounds per game during the 2019-20 season. He brought insane energy and physicality, and he finished plays like a wrecking ball in sneakers. What makes this gap so wild is how rare it's been for centers to get that kind of recognition off the bench. 6th man has always skewed toward guards who score. Harrell and Walton were outliers. Both did it with impact, but in totally different eras and styles. 2 bigs, 34 years apart, and a trophy, usually reserved for shooters in headbands. Rodman's babysitter. Jack Haley wasn't on the court much, but his presence around Dennis Rodman made him one of the most talked about reserves in the league. He and Rodman became close friends during their time with the Spurs, and later reunited on the Bulls because of how often they were seen together and how Haley always seemed to be nearby when Rodman's antics started brewing. People started calling him the babysitter. That label stuck, mostly thanks to media exaggeration and rival players tossing shade. It wasn't an official role. No team paperwork said monitor Rodman, but it was obvious Haley had a unique influence. He was someone Rodman actually listened to, which made him valuable in ways that didn't show up in the box score. Still, Haley hated the term. He pushed back hard, saying he made the roster as a player, not as a bodyguard or emotional handler. To him, it was a friendship, not a job. He didn't want to be reduced to a punchline just because his best friend happened to be one of the most unpredictable players in league history. But perception ran wild, especially when they were on that legendary 1995-96 Bulls team. Rodman was doing Rodman things, coloring his hair, getting tossed, causing chaos, and Haley was always around. That made the jokes easy. Even after his passing in 2015, people kept pointing out the babysitter angle, but deeper. Retrospectives made it clear Haley wasn't just along for the ride. He was a real teammate, a real friend, and probably one of the few people Rodman trusted during one of the NBA's most volatile runs. Dwight Howard. Let's be real. This guy doesn't get nearly enough credit for what he accomplished. He was the first overall pick in the 2004 NBA draft, straight out of high school, at 18 years old, and he didn't waste any time proving he belonged. Howard put together one of the most decorated defense resumes the league has ever seen. 3 consecutive Defensive Player of the Year awards, 2009, 2010, 2011. Back to back to back. That's incredibly rare. He made 5 straight All-NBA first teams, 8 All-Star selections total, 5 rebounding titles, 2 blocks titles, and his career field goal percentage sat at 58.7%. That's elite efficiency. In 2009, he carried Orlando to the NBA Finals. They beat a LeBron James-led Cleveland team that had the best record in the league that season. And Howard did it without another All-NBA caliber player beside him. He finished second in MVP, Voting in 2011, put up 22.9 points, 14.1 rebounds, and 2.4 blocks that season. Second, not third, not fifth. Second, his career totals ranked top 10 all-time in rebounds. He won an NBA championship in 2020 with the Lakers. And in 2025, he entered the Hall of Fame on the first ballot. David Robinson. The man put up numbers that most centers can only dream about. 21.1 points, 10.6 rebounds, 3 blocks, and 2.5 assists per game over his career. He's in the 20,000 point and 10,000 rebound club. That's a rare group. His resume is loaded. 1995 MVP, 1992 Defensive Player of the Year, 1994 Scoring Champ, Rookie of the Year in 1990, 10 All-Star selections, 10 All-NBA selections, 8 All-Defense selections, 2 NBA championships. He's one of only 4 players in NBA history to record a quadruple-double, 34 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists, and 10 blocks in a single game. 4 players ever. In the 1993-94 season, he averaged 29.8 points, 10.7 rebounds, 4.8 assists, and 3.3 blocks. As a center, that stat line is almost unreal. He also scored 71 points in the final game of the 1994 season to win the scoring title. 71. He's on the NBA 50th anniversary team and the NBA 75th anniversary team. But because he played his entire career in San Antonio, and because Tim Duncan eventually took over as the face of that franchise, Robinson's legacy quietly got pushed to the side. And that's not right. Steve Nash, 2 MVPs, 5 assist titles, 4 50-40-90 seasons, and somehow still one of the most debated stars in NBA history. Nash was drafted 15th overall out of Santa Clara. In mid-major school, nobody was expecting greatness. He spent his early years coming off the bench, getting traded, and figuring things out. Then everything changed. When Nash returned to Phoenix in 2004, the Suns went from 29 wins to 62 wins in one season. That's not a coincidence. He won back-to-back MVP awards in 2005 and 2006. His scoring average during his first MVP season was 15.5 points per game. That's the lowest scoring average for an MVP winner in decades. But his efficiency was absurd. 49% from the field, 43% from three, and over 90% from the free throw line. He did the 50-40-90 thing 4 times. Most players never do it once. Nash finished his career with over 10,000 assists. He led the league in assists 5 different times. His career three-point percentage sits at 42.8% and his free throw percentage at 90.4%. He's also the first Canadian player to ever win NBA MVP, Hall of Fame inductee in 2018. The resume speaks for itself. He just never got a ring, and somehow that's all people want to talk about. By the way, if you guys want to subscribe, I'm going to be posting every day. Thanks. Anyways, Russell Westbrook, the all-time triple-double leader, a former MVP, and somehow one of the most criticized players of his generation. Let's start with the record. Westbrook broke Oscar Robertson's career triple-double record in 2021. Robertson set that record back in 1974. It stood for over 4 decades before Westbrook erased it. He finished with over 200 career triple-doubles. He's also one of only 3 players in NBA history to average a triple-double for an entire season. The other 2 are Robertson and Nikola Jokic. Westbrook did it 4 times. His 2016-17 MVP season was historic. 31.6 points, 10.7 rebounds, and 10.4 assists per game. He became the first player in 55 years to average a triple-double for a full season and broke Robertson's single-season triple-double record in the process. He's a top 10 all-time assist leader, top 25 all-time in scoring. He's the second player ever, alongside LeBron James, to finish with 25,000 points and 10,000 assists. 9 All-Star selections, 9 All-NBA selections, named to the NBA 75th anniversary team. The criticism around his efficiency and the late career team changes shaped how people remember him, but the records don't disappear because of the narrative. The stats are permanent, and they're some of the most unique in league history. Moses Malone, 3 MVP awards, 13 All-Star selections, and the all-time offensive rebounding record. And somehow, he's not in the conversation enough. Let's get into it. Malone won 3 league MVPs in 1979, 1982, and 1983. That's the same number as Larry Bird, the same number as Magic Johnson. He was doing it in the same era as those 2. And Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, that's not a soft MVP era. His 1982 season was ridiculous. 31.1 points and 14.7 rebounds per game. He led the league in offensive rebounds and minutes played that year. Speaking of offensive rebounds, he's the all-time leader with 6,731, and he holds the 3 highest single-season offensive rebound totals in NBA history. That record might never get touched. He averaged a double-double for his entire career, 20.6 points and 12.2 rebounds per game. Over 11 consecutive seasons, he averaged over 20 points a game. Then in 1983, he led Philadelphia to the championship. They went 12-1 in the playoff. He won Finals MVP. Before the postseason, he predicted they'd sweep every round. They nearly did. Career totals put him top 10 all-time in both points and rebound. He also held the all-time free throw makes record when he retired. Inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2001. The resume is right there. People just don't talk about it enough. Oscar Robertson. Before Russell Westbrook ever touched a basketball, this man already did what most people thought was impossible. In the 1961-62 season, Robertson averaged 30.8 points, 12.5 rebounds, and 11.4 assists per game. A full season triple-double average. He was the only player in league history to do that for over 50 years. And that wasn't even a fluke. Across his first 5 NBA seasons combined, he averaged 30.3 points, 10.4 rebounds, and 10.6 assists. His first 5 years averaged a triple-double. Nobody else in history has done that. His rookie season alone, he averaged 30.5 points, 10.1 rebounds, and 9.7 assists. He made All-NBA First Team as a rookie. He made it 9 straight times after that. He finished his career with 26,710 points and 9,887 assists. When he retired, he was the all-time assist leader and the second leading scorer in NBA history behind only Wilt Chamberlain. He won the 1964 MVP, 12 All-Star selections, 6 assist titles, and he won a championship in 1971 alongside Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He also held the career triple-double record at 181 until Westbrook broke it in 2021. Robertson's on the NBA 50th and 75th anniversary teams. He basically invented the modern point guard. The numbers back that up completely. James Harden, over 29,000 career points, 11 All-Star selections, and still one of the most polarizing players in NBA history. He started his career coming off the bench in Oklahoma City. Won 6th Man of the Year in 2012 on a finals team. Then Houston handed him the keys, and he became one of the most dominant offensive players the league has ever seen. His 2019 season, 36.1 points per game. That's one of the highest scoring averages in the modern era. Very few players since the 1960s have averaged that many points in a season. His MVP year in 2018, he averaged 30.4 points, 8.8 assists, and 5.4 rebounds. Houston had the best record in the NBA. He led the league in win shares, scoring, and player efficiency rating all in the same season. He's won 3 scoring titles and 2 assist titles. That combination in the same career is extremely rare. Most elite scorers don't also lead the league in assists. Harden did both multiple times. He's currently top 10 all-time in scoring, passing Shaq on the list. He also ranks top 15 all-time in assists. That's elite scoring and elite playmaking production at a historical level. 25 career 50-point games. Named to the 75th anniversary team. The criticism around his style has always been loud, but the production, the records, and the hardware don't disappear because of it. John Stockton, the all-time assists leader and the all-time steals leader. Both records are still his, and both aren't close. 15,806 career assists. Second place is Jason Kidd with 12,091. That's a gap of over 3,700 assists. That's not a record. That's a different category entirely. He recorded over 1,000 assists in a season 7 different times. His single season record is 1,164 assists. His highest single season average was 14.5 assists per game. To even approach his career total, a player would need roughly 10 straight seasons averaging 12 assists per game. That's basically impossible by today's standards. Then there's the steals record, 3,265 career steals. Also still number 1 all time. He played 19 seasons and missed only 22 games his entire career. He played all 82 games in 17 different seasons. That durability is a huge reason these records exist. He led the NBA in assists 9 consecutive seasons. 1988, through 1996. That's the longest streak of assist titles in league history. His career field goal percentage was 51.5% for a point guard in that era. That's remarkable efficiency. Utah made the finals in 1997 and 1998. They never missed the playoffs during his career. 10 All-Star selections, 11 All-NBA selections, named to the 50th and 75th anniversary teams. No ring, but 2 records that may never be broken. Isaiah Thomas, 2 championships, a finals MVP, 12 All-Star selections, and somehow one of the most underappreciated point guards in NBA history. He was drafted 2nd overall in 1981 and spent his entire 13-year career in Detroit. Never left. His number 11 is retired there. Thomas averaged 19.2 points and 9.3 assists per game for his career. Those are elite numbers at both positions simultaneously. He finished with 18,822 points and 9,061 assists. He was the floor general of the Bad Boys Pistons. That team won back-to-back championships in 1989 and 1990. During that run, they eliminated Larry Bird's Celtics, Magic Johnson's Lakers, and Michael Jordan's Bulls. Those aren't easy outs. That's the 3 most dominant teams of that era. In the 1990 finals, he averaged 27.6 points and 7 assists per game and won finals MVP. Detroit beat Portland in 5 games. Then there's the 1988 finals performance. He sprained his ankle in Game 6 and still scored 25 points in the 3rd quarter alone. That's one of the most famous performances in finals history. His playoff career averages mirror his regular season, 19.2 points and 9.3 assists. He played over 100 playoff games. He also won a national championship at Indiana University in 1981 before he even entered the league. Hall of Fame in 2000. Named to the NBA 75th anniversary team. The career is right there in front of everyone. George Mikan, the first superstar in professional basketball history, and probably the most forgotten dominant player the sport has ever seen. Before the Celtics dynasty, before Wilt, before Russell, there was Mikan. He led the Minneapolis Lakers to 5 NBA championships in 6 seasons, 7 professional championships total across 9 seasons when you include the earlier leagues he dominated. He averaged 22.6 points and 13.4 rebounds per game for his career. When he retired, he was the all-time leading scorer in professional basketball history. He won 3 scoring titles. His peak scoring season was 28.4 points per game. In the playoffs, he averaged 23.5 points across 91 games. His dominance was so extreme that the NBA changed its rules multiple times because of him. They widened the foul lane specifically to limit his impact near the basket. Goaltending rules were strengthened, and teams stalling against his Minneapolis Lakers helped push the league toward adopting the 24-second shot clock. The entire structure of modern basketball was partially shaped by one player being too hard to stop. 6 All-NBA first-team selections, 4 All-Star selections, named the greatest basketball player of the first half of the 20th century by the Associated Press. He's on the NBA 50th and 75th anniversary teams. He was in the inaugural Hall of Fame class in 1959. The reason he's overlooked is simple. He played before most fans were born, but the impact he left on the game is permanent. Jerry West, 27 points per game for his career, 14 All-Star selections, and his silhouette is literally the NBA logo. That should tell you everything. West averaged 29.1 points per game in the playoff. That's one of the highest postseason scoring averages in NBA history. He also scored more points in the NBA Finals than any player ever. 1,679 career Finals points. Nobody has more. In the 1969 Finals, he averaged 37.9 points, 7.4 assists, and 4.7 rebounds per game. The Lakers lost the series. He still won Finals MVP. He's the only player in NBA history to win Finals MVP on the losing team. He reached the Finals 9 times. 6 of those losses came against Bill Russell's Celtics dynasty. He finally got his ring in 1972. 10 All-NBA first-team selections. 5 All-Defensive Team selections. He led the league in scoring in 1970 and in assists in 1972. Leading the league in both categories at different points in a career is rare. He finished top 5 in MVP voting 8 times and never won the award, not once. Then after his playing career, he helped build the Showtime Lakers and later the Shaq and Kobe Bryant championship dynasty as an executive. The man never won MVP, lost 8 finals, and still became the face of the entire league. His silhouette has been on the logo since 1969. That's a legacy that doesn't need a trophy to be validated. Rick Barry, the only player in history to lead the NCAA, the NBA, and the ABA in scoring. That's not a coincidence. That's dominance at every single level. In 1967, he averaged 35.6 points per game and won the NBA scoring title. That same season, he carried his team to the finals as a second-year player. Then in 1975, he led Golden State to one of the biggest upsets in NBA history. They swept the Washington Bullets for the championship. Barry averaged 29.5 points, 5 assists, and 3.5 steals per game in that series and won Finals MVP. In the ABA, he averaged 30.5 points per game overall and 33.5 in the playoffs. He won a championship there too. Producing at that level in two completely separate professional leagues is something almost nobody else has ever done. His career totals across both leagues come out to over 25,000 professional points, 5 All-NBA first-team selections, 8 All-Star selections, Hall of Fame inductee in 1987. His free throw percentage sat around 80, 9% using an underhand shooting technique. When he retired, he held the highest free throw percentage in NBA history. He also averaged nearly 5 assists per game for his career as a forward. In the 1970s, that kind of playmaking from that position was extremely unusual. The reason he gets overlooked is simple. His prime was split across 2 leagues. He played in a less celebrated era, and his personality rubbed people the wrong way. But the production was real. Bill Walton, 2 NCAA championships, an NBA MVP, a Finals MVP, 2 NBA titles, and a career that most people only half remember because injuries took everything away from him. At UCLA, he went 21 for 22 from the field in an NCAA championship game and scored 44 points. That's one of the most efficient championship game performances in college basketball history. He was drafted first overall in 1974. By 1977, he'd led Portland to their only NBA championship and won Finals MVP. Then in 1978, he won League MVP, averaged 18.9 points, 13.2 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2.5 blocks per game. Portland started that season 50-10. He also became the only player in NBA history to win MVP while playing fewer than 65 games in an 82-game season. Then the injuries hit. Between March 1978 and March 1983, he played only 47 total NBA games, 37 orthopedic surgeries over the course of his life. 60% of his potential career games missed. He came back with Boston in 1986, won 6th Man of the Year, and got his second championship. MVP, 2 rings, Hall of Fame. The career was short, but when he was healthy, he was elite. Carmelo Anthony, 28,289 career points, top 10 all-time in scoring. And somehow the conversation around his legacy always circles back to what he didn't win instead of what he actually did. He was drafted 3rd overall in 2003 alongside LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh. Denver won 17 games the year before he arrived. In his rookie season, they won 43 and made the playoff. He averaged 21 points per game as a 19-year-old. He won the scoring title in 2013 with 28.7 points per game. First Knicks player to win a scoring title since 1985. He scored 62 points in a single game at Madison Square Garden, still the building's all-time record. 10 All-Star selection, 6 All-NBA selection, named to the NBA 75th anniversary team, Hall of Fame inductee. Then there's the Olympic resume, 3 gold medals and a bronze across 4 Olympics. He set the team USA single-game scoring record with 37 points in 14 minutes against Nigeria. He won an NCAA championship at Syracuse in his only college season and was named Final Four Most Outstanding Player. 22.5 points per game for his career. The production was never the question. Manu Ginobili, drafted 57th overall. That's pick 57, late second round. And he went on to win 4 NBA championships and get inducted into the Hall of Fame. He spent all 16 of his NBA seasons with San Antonio and finished with a career winning percentage of .721. Among players with at least 1,000 games played, that's one of the highest ever recorded. He won 6th Man of the Year in 2008, while averaging 19.5 points, 4.8 rebounds, and 4.5 assists per game. Those are starter numbers. He was still coming off the bench. 4 championships, 2 All-Star selections, 2 All-NBA selections, Hall of Fame inductee in 2022. His number 20 is retired by the Spurs, but the NBA resume is only part of it. He won a EuroLeague championship in 2001 and was named Finals MVP. Then in 2004, he helped Argentina beat the United States and win the Olympic gold medal. That was the first Olympic gold in Argentine basketball history. EuroLeague title, Olympic gold, 4 NBA championships, all starting from pick 57. His on-court impact numbers showed the Spurs were plus 7.7 per 100 possessions, with him on the floor in the playoff, minus 2.5 without him. The number 57 produced Hall of Fame results. Charles Barkley, 6'6", undersized for his position his entire career, and still averaged 22.1 points and 11.7 rebounds per game across 16 seasons. That's not supposed to be possible at that size. He led the NBA in rebounding in the 1986-87 season with 14.6 rebounds per game. As a forward, in the 1987-88 season, he shot 58.7% from the field while scoring 28.3 points per game. Elite efficiency at elite volume. His MVP season in 1993, he averaged 25.6 points, 12.2 rebounds, and 5.1 assists. Phoenix had the best record in the NBA that year, and he carried them to the finals. 11 All-Star selections, 11 All-NBA selections, named to both the 50th and 75th anniversary teams. He finished his career with over 23,000 points, over 12,000 rebounds, and over 4,000 assists. That assist total is significant because most dominant big men don't contribute as playmakers. Barkley did. He was also a key member of the 1992 Dream Team, alongside Jordan, Magic, and Bird. In the 1995-96 season, he ranked second in the entire NBA in player efficiency rating, behind only David Robinson. The championship never came, but the production across 16 seasons against the best competition the league had is undeniable. Paul Pierce, 26,397 career points, a championship, a finals MVP, and somehow he's one of the most consistently underrated players in NBA history. He averaged 20.7 points per game across 19 seasons. That ranks him among the top 20 scorers in league history. He spent 15 of those seasons in Boston, which is rare franchise loyalty in any era. Before Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen arrived in 2007, Pierce was carrying the Celtics through some very difficult years on his own. He was the entire offense. He led the NBA in total points in 2002 and in free throws made in 2003. Then in 2008, he delivered when it mattered most. Boston beat the Lakers for the championship, and Pierce averaged 21.8 points, 6.3 assists, and 4.5 rebounds in the finals, and 1 finals MVP. 10 All-Star selections across a decade of production, 4 All-NBA selections. His number 34 is retired by the Celtics. Hall of Fame inductee in 2021, named to the NBA 75th anniversary team. His playoff numbers hold up too. 20 points, 6.1 rebounds, and 3.6 assists per game across 158 career playoff games. He also scored 41 points in a Game 7 against Cleveland in 2008. The truth was exactly that for nearly 2 decades. Jason Kidd, second all-time in assists, second all-time in steals, 19 seasons, and he's rarely mentioned in the same breath as the other all-time greats at his position. He finished with 12,091 career assists. Only John Stockton has more. He led the league in assists 5 different times and averaged 8.7 per game for his career. He also averaged 6.3 rebounds per game as a point guard, which is nearly double what most guards produce. 107 career triple-doubles, 9 all-defensive team selections. He was one of the rare players who was elite on both ends simultaneously. When he arrived in New Jersey in 2001, the Nets had just won 26 games. His first season, they won 52 and reached the finals. They went back to the finals the following year. That's a franchise transformation in 2 seasons. He eventually won a championship with Dallas in 2011, 17 seasons into his career as the starting point guard alongside Dirk Nowitzki. 2 Olympic gold medals, 10 All-Star selections, 6 All-NBA selections, Hall of Fame inductee in 2018, named to the NBA 75th anniversary team. He also became one of the top 3-point shooters all time, despite being heavily criticized as a poor shooter early in his career. That development extended his career significantly. 12.6 points per game is the number people use against him. The assists, steals, rebounds, and defense are the numbers that actually tell the story. Allen Iverson, 6 feet tall, 165 pounds, and he averaged 26.7 points per game for his entire career. That's one of the highest scoring averages in NBA history regardless of size. He was the first overall pick in 1996 and won Rookie of the Year, averaging 23.5 points per game, 4 scoring titles, 3 steals titles, 11 All-Star selections, 7 All-NBA selections, MVP in 2001. That MVP season, he averaged 31.1 points, 4.6 assists, and 2.5 steals per game. He led the league in scoring and steals simultaneously and received 93 first-place votes, finishing ahead of Tim Duncan and Shaq. Then he took Philadelphia to the finals that same year. The Sixers won 56 games and earned the 1 seed in the East. Iverson led the entire playoffs in total points and total assists. In the finals, he averaged 35.6 points per game against the Lakers, who won the championship that year and lost only 1 playoff game all postseason. That loss came in Game 1 when Iverson scored 48 points. He did all of this as one of the smallest players in the league during an era that included Kobe Bryant, Shaq, and Tim Duncan. 24,000 career points. Hall of Fame inductee in 2016. Named to the NBA 75th anniversary team. The answer was never the problem. Clyde Drexler. 22,195 career points, 6,000 plus assists, 6,000 plus rebounds, and over 2,000 steals. Those numbers from a shooting guard are genuinely rare. He averaged 20.4 points, 6.1 rebounds, and 5.6 assists per game for his career across 15 seasons. Most shooting. Guards don't come close to those rebounding and assist numbers. Drexler did it consistently for over a decade. He led Portland to the finals in 1990 and again in 1992. 5 All-NBA selections, 10 All-Star selections, named to both the 50th and 75th anniversary teams. The reason he's overlooked is simple. He played most of his prime during the same era as Michael Jordan, and the 1992 finals was constantly framed as a Jordan versus Drexler comparison. Jordan won that series, and the narrative stuck. Then in 1995, he was traded to Houston and reunited with Hakeem Olajuwon. The Rockets, that postseason, defeated 3 teams that won 59 or more regular season games before winning the championship. Drexler was the second star on that team and got his ring. He was also a member of the 1992 Dream Team and won Olympic gold. Hall of Fame inductee in 2004. Inducted again in 2010 as a member of the Dream Team. The production was elite. The versatility was real. Playing in Portland during the Jordan era just meant the spotlight never fully landed on him the way it should have. Dominique Wilkins. 26,668 career points, a scoring title, and a player efficiency rating of 21.6. He's 17th on the all-time scoring list and somehow barely comes up in the greatest forwards conversation. He averaged 24.8 points per game across 15 seasons and over 1,000 regular season games. That kind of sustained scoring production is rare at any position. In 1986, he led the NBA in scoring at 30.3 points per game. He had multiple seasons above 28 points, and he did all of this during an era that included Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, and Magic Johnson, which made winning awards nearly impossible regardless of production. Then in 1992, he tore his Achilles tendon. That injury has historically ended careers. The following season, he came back and averaged 29.9 points per game. That recovery is one of the most remarkable in league history. 9 All-Star selections, 7 All-NBA selections, named to the NBA 75th anniversary team, Hall of Fame inductee in 2006. He also won the Slam Dunk Contest in 1985 and 1990, and his dunk contest battles with Jordan helped define the event during its most popular era. His nickname was the human highlight film, and while that label celebrated his athleticism, it sometimes reduced how people talked about his actual statistical impact. Over 1,000 games, nearly 25 points per game, top 20 all-time in scoring. That's a complete career. Tony Parker, 4 NBA championships, a finals, MVP, and he's the all-time assist leader for one of the most successful franchises in league history. But because he played next to Tim Duncan, his individual impact gets minimized constantly. He won finals MVP in 2007 against Cleveland, averaging 18.6 points and 5.5 assists while shooting 52% from the field. He became the first European player in NBA history to win Finals MVP. His career field goal percentage was 49%. For a point guard in that era, that shooting efficiency was extremely rare. Most guards of that period shot in the low to mid-40s. His playoff resume puts him in rare historical company. Over 4,000 career playoff points and over 1,000 career playoff assists. The other players to reach both of those totals are Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and LeBron James. That's the group Parker belongs to in the postseason. Career totals include over 19,000 points, over 7,000 assists, and over 1,000 steals across more than 1,000 games. 6 All-Star selections, 4 All-NBA selections. The Spurs retired his number 9 jersey. Hall of Fame inductee in 2023. San Antonio made the playoffs every single season Parker played there. 4 titles, nearly 2 decades of sustained success. The criticism that it was all the system, or all Duncan, doesn't hold up when the playoff numbers place him alongside the 3 greatest players of his generation. The production was real, the championships were real, and the legacy deserves more respect than it gets. Gary Payton, 9 all-defensive first-team selection. That total ties him with Michael Jordan, Kevin Garnett, and Kobe Bryant. And he did it as a point guard, which almost never happens. He won Defensive Player of the Year in 1996. He was the first point guard in history to win the award and remained the only one to win it for over 25 years until Marcus Smart in 2022. The award almost always goes to a big man. Payton changed that. His career averages were 16.3 points, 6.7 assists, and 3.9 rebounds per game across 17 seasons and 1,335 games. Career totals put him over 21,000 points and nearly 9,000 assists. He's one of only 5 players in NBA history with over 20,000 points, 5,000 rebounds, and 7,500 assists. The other players in that group include Oscar Robertson and LeBron James. He led Seattle to 64 wins in 1996 and took them to the final. The Sonics lost to the Jordan Bulls, but Payton was the primary defender on Jordan in that series, and Jordan's efficiency dropped when Payton guarded him directly. That matchup is one of the most famous defensive performances in finals history. He also led the league in assists and 3-pointers made in the same season in 2000, 2 Olympic gold medals, Hall of Fame inductee in 2013, named to the NBA 75th anniversary team. The glove was one of the most complete guards of his era. The defensive record proves it. Dr. J, 30,026 combined professional points across 2 leagues, 4 MVP awards, and 3 championships. And because half of his prime happened in the ABA, people constantly undercount what he actually accomplished. He's the only player in basketball history to win MVP in 2 different major professional leagues, 3 ABA MVPs in 1974, 1975, and 1976. Then an NBA MVP in 1981. That's 4 MVP awards total. Very few players in any era have matched that. He won ABA championships in 1974 and 1976, then an NBA championship in 1983 with Philadelphia. That Sixers team finished 65-17 and is considered one of the strongest teams of that decade. His NBA numbers alone show 22 points, 6.7 rebounds, and 3.9 assists per game across 11 seasons. He also finished with over 1,000 steals and over 1,000 blocks in the NBA, which places him among the most complete defensive wings of his era. 16 All-Star selections total across both leagues. He made the All-Star game every single NBA season he played, 11 straight selections. His teams never missed the playoffs across 16 professional seasons. Not once. He's on the NBA 50th and 75th anniversary teams, Hall of Fame inductee in 1993. The problem is simple. 5 of his best seasons happened in a league that gets erased from most historical conversations. When you add everything back in, the resume is one of the greatest ever assembled. If you enjoyed this, I'm going to be posting a lot here. I would greatly appreciate it if you could subscribe. Thanks for watching.